Over 20 years of Animal Crossing being out, I took the time in little old 2025 to play 30 days of every mainline game. Yep, this is the compilation of all the fun times I've had, angry villagers I met, scary events that they retconned, and much, much more. Even footage that you have not seen yet. So strap in, don't forget to subscribe, and enjoy the video. Animal Crossing New Leaf is the best Animal Crossing game, is what most of the fanbase says. But I want to test that by playing 30 days of every Animal Crossing game, starting of course with the first one. We begin this journey with a little message from KK Slider. He seems to be aware of us moving out on our own for the first time and gives us a few words of encouragement. Thanks, buddy. This is also the beginning of the fourth wall breaking that this game does surprisingly too much of. I'm not kidding, by the way, so you'll just have to watch to find out. But enough talking with KK, it's time to get on the train to our new home. And that's when someone else approaches us. He, totally snitches on when I started recording this. Cause yes, the Animal Crossing games run on the actual time of day it is. This is the part of the game where we have weird banter with our new friend Rover, and we get to type in our name and the town we're going to. I completely messed up typing my name, so sorry if that bothers you. And from there you choose if you want a boy or a girl model with the cool or cute question. I completely struggled with what I wanted to name my town, and decided by looking at the most dangerous cities in the US, which is how I stumbled upon Cleveland. No, not Cleveland. I couldn't type it all in. Rover asked a bunch of questions about why we're going to the town and where we're gonna be living. All of these questions determine what your face looks like, and I didn't pre-plan this. So once I got off the train arriving in Cleveland, I saw my new look. Oh my god. Oh, I look bad. Oh, holy shit, I'm here. What's up, gamers? Oh. We're greeted by Tom Nook, who laughs at us for moving to a town without having any housing preparations. Rude. And since we obviously have no house, I get to take a look at the 4 available plots in this cute little area. Out of all the houses, I actually think I went for the worst one, as the floor was literally just steel. But that's when we come to an even bigger issue. I do not have money at all. He sits there laughing at me, which was so mean. I'm broke, leave me alone. I don't know where his kindness comes from, but it appeared, and he let me keep the house if I work for him. And this is how we get introduced to the acre system. Every square on the map is a different acre. Honestly, it's a pretty interesting system. Looking at the map, I also get to take a peek at who my neighbors are. I went and said hello to Ursula, Peaches, Fang, and Chico, missing out on Puddles and Cobb, who were also in the town. They're actually pretty hostile towards me, so I guess I have a long journey to go on to make them like me. While on my stroll, I met Copper, who is a policeman stationed in the middle of town, and then visited the Able sisters. Mabel being super welcoming, Sable, on the other hand, not having too much to say. Instead of going into my job though, I actually went straight to sleep, using my gyroid to save my first day's progress. Leading us into day number 2, which opens up with my first day of work. The first thing Tom Nook did was make me get into uniform, which doesn't look too bad. The second thing was plant some pretty flowers and trees. Now, I don't know how this will help me get money, but I'm supposed to go and introduce myself to all the townsfolk, and especially the mayor. On my way to find the villagers I didn't talk to before, I found the dump, I guess? Really excited about the soccer ball though. I found Cobb and Puddles, and eventually made my way to the wishing well to see the mayor. He's kinda weird, but will apparently be very useful during the holidays. Finally, I get into actual work as now I have to hand deliver a furniture order, write advertisements to villagers, it really just looks like song lyrics, and then help out the villagers individually. The first person I bumped into was Ursula, and after asking, she wanted me to get the camera that she left over at Fang's. What I wasn't expecting though was Fang lending the camera to Cobb. Is that not weird to lend someone else's item to someone else? So I had to go over where Ursula was and find Cobb. He said he didn't forget about it. Yeah, okay. But I gave back the camera and got 488 bells in return. This was enough enough time for Tom Nook to grab something else for me to do, and now I have another delivery that I need to be quick with. He's being incredibly stern. And even though I just got into town, she was about to file a complaint for taking too long? Literally, how is that my fault? This is like my 30th minute on the job. Like I said earlier, these people are a little hostile. And after poor shaming me, told me that I need to get my debt covered to get a better carpet and wallpaper. Good advice my neighbors are giving me so far, but I returned to Nook and received a hefty compensation. The second task I had to deliver was an axe to Peaches, who was so happy about my wonderful letter, so I guess that advertising worked. Speaking of advertising, the last thing in store was writing an advertisement on the town's bulletin board. What was the one rule? Don't embarrass Tom Nook. And with all the tasks done, I don't have to work for Tom Nook again. Yup. This one day was it. Now it is up to me to pay off the remaining 17,400 bells. Luckily, he gives me a bunch of ideas on how to earn more cash, but it's up to me. I messed around in my room for a bit and changed out of my uniform into an outfit that I found at the dump. My first order of solo business, though, was collecting anything around the town to make me money, like seashells at the beach and fruit in the trees. Each town has its own individual fruit, and my town just so happened to be pears out of the 6 available. I really thought this would give me more money than it did, but I was wrong. I'm still gonna try and sell as much as I can lying around though, cause literally anything helps to pay off this debt. The only annoying thing is not being able to select everything all at once. I have to do it one at a time. And now that I'm rich, I'm immediately spending money on a shovel. Maybe while I do some tasks from villagers, I'll be able to find reasons to use said shovel. I bump into Cobb first. I asked if he wanted me to do anything for him, and he actually says yes. Fang, again, has refused to give back an item. So I have to go back over to his house to get Cobb's organizer. Again, what the hell? An organizer? Luckily, Fang had it with him this time, so I was able to collect it easily. But on my way back, I did find a little shovel opportunity, as there is just a glowing patch of grass. Digging it up, I found 1,000 bells. Funny enough, in some of the other games, you can rebury the money to make a money tree, but I don't know how that works in this version, and it'll take a long time for me to figure that out, so I kind of just lose a bunch of money for a bit. In the meantime, I found another dig spot, but this time I dig up a fossil. We'll get back to that. I go back to Cobb and give him back his organizer, expecting money, but no, I got stationary. Oh I did not expect him to call me out. How did he know? Whereas that did not help out my debt journey, it did help me find a fossil, which I decided to take to the museum. This is where I found a sleeping little owl named Blathers. I asked him what this place even was, and got told about the Faraway Museum. The museum here in Cleveland is just a little branch of that museum, and it also has absolutely nothing to look at. Yeah, there's nothing here. So it's up to me, again, to try and donate things like paintings, bugs, fossils, and fish to grow the collection. I tried to donate the fossil I got, but Blathers explains that I actually have to send it to the other museum through the mail. They're the ones who are gonna assess it and then send it back to me, which is a lot more work than I thought it would be. The official last thing I did for the day was writing villagers letters, since they previously said they enjoyed them. I didn't know that I needed to write actual letters to make them happy, but this becomes an issue later. Just wait. And after sending those off, I officially signed out for the day. Day 3 started with me being cordially invited to have the Faraway Museum look at my fossils for me, which means I can now start working on the fossil exhibit in the museum. I went to go check out Nook's, but sadly, there was nothing for me to buy in the shop, so I got to doing other activities. I asked Cobb if he needed me to do anything, and to my surprise, no. I didn't know that they could say no. Same thing with Ursula and Peaches. Absolutely nothing for me to do. On my way to the beach, I accidentally bumped the ball into the water. I was really sad about this. But I discovered a new person while I was there. And after trying to wake him up multiple times, I got to talk with Gulliver, a seagull that washed up on the shore after falling off of his ship. This is a regular occurrence, and he will show up again. But for his thanks, he gives mementos from his travels, like the merlion that is now pouring water into my room. After this, I checked with the cops. He warned me of this fellow named Wendell, a wander that will appear on November 8th, tomorrow. But that's all the info I got. But I did decide to go into the police station this time, meeting Booker, and also being able to steal anything I wanted. Yeah, I could just steal from the cops. This game is wild. Get it? Oh my god, I didn't realize I made that joke. That's funny. Haha, hilarious. Thank you. Thank you. Since I'm already doing a round of talking to NPCs, I went and talked to the Able sisters. Still not really getting a response from Sable, but we'll get there. I had been picking up a bunch of seashells to try and get more money, but as I passed my house to head to Nook's, I realized I had a bunch of letters. And this is what I meant earlier by writing actual letters. All of my villagers were upset with me because I didn't write actual letters. And it made me so sad, so I just got rid of all of them. But now I know. At the end of the day, I sent off the fossils I had collected to be assessed, and then contributed to my debt, now only needing 7,400 bells left. I also changed the town tune, which is the jingle you'll hear when walking into buildings. Editor's note, I haven't been using the in-game sound in the video so far, because it's hard to edit with background music. Sorry. But let me know what song you think this is in the comments. Day 4, I woke up to getting my fossils back in the mail from the other museum. I got an Apatow tail, T-Rex torso, and a piece of amber, all now being displayed in Cleveland's museum. After this, I did a little quest for puddles, but ran into a house I don't remember being there. Yeah, a new villager arrived all of a sudden, and let me tell you, I hate her. I know my villagers have been pretty hostile, but they haven't been outright mean to me? Like, what is that? I want her gone. Now. In better news, there was a better selection at Nook's today, which allowed me to get a net. Yep, now I can catch bugs. I did not, realize how hard this would be. I am much worse at it than I thought. But I was able to catch a long-headed locust, a migratory locust, and a cockroach. Of course, all of them having funny quotes after catching each of them. Why the long head? Face? Whatever. These were my first bug donations to the museum, and surprisingly, even though he's an owl, Blathers hates bugs. Bro does not want to touch these things. After I was done with that though, I did do some quests for my villagers, but I do think that it was pretty fun. The villagers can just ask you to bring them the ball sitting around town. It was a little difficult, but really funny. The last thing on my mind was looking for fossils, but along the way, I found Wendell, the guy I learned about yesterday. He was really hungry, and I tried giving him fruit, but he wasn't having it. Apparently, he gives you something special for a fish, but I don't have those at the moment, so there's not really anything I could do. The day officially ended with me getting some new drip, guess the cosplay, and sending off my fossils to be assessed. The start of day 5 is not what I was expecting, as a mole appeared. You know how I said this game breaks the fourth wall? Well, Rossetti is here to yell at me for exiting the game without saving. I accidentally started playing the game on the wrong day. But I let him get it out of his system, and hopefully I won't have to be yelled at again. I spent the first half of the day doing quests and donating fossils, but I eventually got a new tool, the fishing pole. There was a bunch of fish to donate, so I got started on that, and even found a painting I also needed just buried in the ground. I also sold all the fish I didn't donate to actually completely clear my debt. Yup, I am debt-free for 2 seconds. Because immediately, Nook asked me if I wanted to upgrade again, and I said, absolutely. The last thing I did for the day was visit Sable at the tailoring store, because I'm still trying to get her to be my friend. And meet the newest villager in my town, Pippi. Day 6, I found Chico by the river fishing, which I thought was a little weird, but no, there is a fishing tourney that apparently goes on every Sunday and ends at 6 p.m. I started this day at 5 p.m. I don't really have a lot of time left. I found this beaver named Chip, and he explained that my goal was to catch the biggest bass. I thought a sea bass would work, as those were pretty common, but no, there's actually just a normal bass in the river. I collected a couple to take to Chip, and this 17-inch bass has nothing on Peach's 21, so I knew I had to get serious. Portimer, who was also here, noticed that I was a part of the fishing tourney and gave me a trophy that contains good luck. Obviously, I tested this theory by catching more bass, and no, none of them, not even my large bass, was at all big enough. So yeah, I don't really think I like fishing tourneys. But with all the fishing I did, I obviously got more museum donations, as well as money by selling all the extras. With this new money, I got an axe, a new tool that I will use to chop a couple annoying trees that are right on the edge of the camera. But for now, it's time to move to Day 7. There's another new villager, Kiki, and unlike Mint, she's actually the goat. I love her, she's very sweet. Other than collecting fossils and having more conversations with Sable, that was it for Day 7. Okay, not even 3 days have gone by and the mole appears again. I really did not mean to this time. Of course, I go through his scolding and am finally able to get on with my day, like meeting another villager. Weber, a nice duck that now occupies the town. And as his welcoming gift, I decided to cut down a lot of the horrible trees next to his house. Day 9 was pretty simple as I just did a bunch of villager quests, but Day 10, I got a little angry. Doing my rounds around the town, I bumped into a car. Yeah, a car, occupied by the famous fashion designer, Gracie. She insults me before she starts talking about her wonderful car and how it needs to be cleaned by me because her clothes are too pretty to be ruined. Yeah, okay. The objective was to spam the A button, but apparently I just wasn't good enough because boy was she mad. I've never been shooed by an animal. It's usually the other way around. That, surprisingly, is not the end of the drama for today though. As I went to visit Sable, she told me all about how Tom Nook was underselling her and her sister's clothes. Yeah, the joke that Tom Nook is actually a bad money-hungry person is real. They deserve better. Of course, I had to end the day by making a payment to the man himself. The next morning, I got a letter in the mail telling me that Nook is actually renovating and I can't use the store today. Yes, I helped the business a lot when I worked there, but nothing really interesting happened today. I got a letter in the mail on Day 12, but this time it was actually the reopening of Nook and Go. But not only that, a mysterious letter from someone named Red. Yes, we have to wait a couple more days to see them though. Nook and Go, however, looks so much better, with even more selection, but of course, the same awful tanuki. The day was actually spent cutting down so many trees, and on my way to look for them, I ran into my new villager, Cousteau. Yeah, there's a new villager. I didn't know about it either. This puts the count at 11, and I really don't know when they're gonna stop showing up. Apparently not Day 13, because there's another villager. Hello? Oh, my cute little fella! I haven't met you before, Nutcase. Oh, what the f- Why do you call me Nutcase? Not exactly the greeting I was expecting, but this day is a little different, as I streamed it entirely on Twitch. And yes, you should totally go follow it, but I'm super close to hitting 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, so maybe we can reach that before the end of the year. Wink wink. It is actually another Sunday, so we have a fishing tourney, but this time I only have 8 minutes. So I quickly caught a bass and then went to Chip. I'm gonna say it's like 15. Ah! Oh, you bitch! Nothing else even mattered because within 2 seconds of trying to fish, the score jumped by a lot. Maybe fishing tourneys in every game are just not for me. But I had a different objective today, as this was the day the mysterious Red was arriving. This black market was supposed to be full of good wares, but it was actually quite pathetic and extremely expensive. Oh my god! I had my money saved up for this though, and decided to let chat pick what we should buy. day. And of course, y'all went with the hazmat barrel. Thanks, guys. So obviously, I had to spend the last end of the day decorating my room with it. I also played day 14 on stream, but nothing really happened other than planting some flowers and finding just one new fish. Day 15 was also pretty boring, as I just did some quests. I thought I was safe, but no, we have a new villager this time, Biddy, a hippo. And I didn't really have a plan for today, so I just did a bunch of side quests, like getting Ursula's Pokemon Pikachu back for her, insane crossover, and settling more of my debt. At night, however, it's not the usual pelican, it's Phyllis, who is an asshole, but I guess I'm just used to it at this point. Day 17, I kind of screwed myself over, because I started playing really early in the morning, and most of my villagers just decided to go back to sleep. So I collected a crap ton of fossils and ended the day. The morning of day 18, I sensed something in the town. I had a gut feeling. I was like, I'm just gonna check my map to see if I have any new villagers. Who the heck is Midge? Is that a bird? Surprisingly, I was allowed to ask her if she needed any help, and apparently she sent her camera to Ricky a while back, which is not possible. But that's not the only quest I did, as I got to help Kiki get her handkerchief as well. Day 19, I do have an objective, which was to make a piece of clothing at the Able Sisters. I wanted it to look like my channel banner, and I kind of did it without looking, so I made it backwards. Whoops. But now I get to wear my own design around town. Another day, another dinosaur complete, and another fishing tourney. Sadly, but actually maybe not, because the highest amount was just 19. And after some entries, the title was mine. Fun fact, I only let myself play about an hour a day, because if not, the video would be way too long. And I started this day at 2 p.m. Fishing tourneys end at 6 p.m. So I really just have to pray I wake up in the morning and nobody took the title. Dude, I can't have anything in this game! The fishing must continue though, because there's a bunch of fish I need to donate. And a lot of them just depend on the season, like this bluegill that I just donated. And luckily, fishing is really nice because it's basically the best way to try and clear my debt, and that is going really well. Only 9,000 left. Even better on day 22, since I keep getting repeat dinosaurs and they sell for a lot, I got that debt cleared so fast, earning me, of course, a basement and another debt. But I'm going to gloss over that. Now, there's just one more thing I need to clear fast. Gracie's car. Why is she here again? No clue, but getting this car clear just means she'll leave faster. Wiped the competition, and she said she had a prize for me. But since she's an esteemed fashion designer, I was expecting a lot. I buried it. It can't hurt me anymore. Crazy enough, I scared the shit out of myself because yeah, there's another villager. Hopefully she won't say anything about the evidence hidden by her house. Day 23, I'm able to decorate my room a little better as I get to put all my random items now in the basement. Goodbye, Tower of Pisa. This was a pretty interesting day since Tortimer showed up asking me if I wanted to put a new bridge in the town. I totally do, just not where he wanted to put it. I said yes though, so hopefully it gets used. The last thing was talking to Ursula about what she would do on her date with her boyfriend. She asked me if sandwiches and root beer were okay, but I'm a Dr. Pepper girly, but I guess it's fine. I will pause to say, as all the animals have different personalities, I actually have quite a few mean ones, like the cranky and snooty types, but at least I have a variety. Day 24 is the Harvest Festival, equivalent to like Thanksgiving, and on my way to the fountain to see if that's where everyone will be, I ran into someone. Franklin was frightened to see me, expecting me to hurt him for some reason. He explains that Tortimer sent him an invitation to be a guest in the festival, but not the way you think. What? Cannibalism? That's pure cannibalism. You can't even write that off. They're all animals. Not only Tortimer, but also my neighbors are trying to catch him. Am I helping him make sure he doesn't get eaten for Thanksgiving? Seriously? Yeah, that's literally it. As expected, a lot of the villagers were at the fountain, all wondering where the main feast is. I actually wasted a lot of the day confused as to what to do, but Franklin wanted me to take the knife and fork to make sure no one could eat him. Insane, by the way. Cannot believe I have to do this. As thanks for getting the tools, he does give me some furniture, ending our convo, asking me to not tell people where he is. Buddy, I think you're found out. Like, yeah. There's a duck too. Yeah, you're screwed. Sorry, buddy. I woke up the morning of day 25, a little traumatized, but other than that, went to Nook's, expecting normal merchandise, but no. Though I was able to get this cute little fish outfit, everything else was basically blind bags. At the end of the day, I almost bought all of them and was able to make my room just a tad cuter, selling the rest that I didn't want. I heard whispers of KK being in town on Saturday, and they were right. This is basically the credits of the game while he sings me a nice little song. Only really highs this day while I completed another dinosaur, the Stegosaurus, and even got a cherry that I can plant in my town to hopefully make a cherry tree. A cherry tree you will not be seeing as this challenge will end before then. So sorry. The morning of December 1st, I have a new NPC. This is Joan and she sells turnips. Turnips in this franchise are like the stock market. The goal is to make more money than what you spent for them. So I bought myself about 30. I was generous, but I didn't want them hogging my inventory, so I chucked them outside, hoping that I could sell them on day 28. No. Nook is remodeling, so I cannot, in fact, do that. But what I can do is collect fish that are now available in December. Okay, so that isn't the end of my troubles though, because my game actually crashed. You know what that means? Resetty's back, baby! He may be mad at me, but I don't even care. I lost so much progress that I'm actually kind of upset. So once that was over, I needed to do everything again. Surprisingly, being pretty successful, allowing me to do a bunch of museum donations. On the other hand, I can't sell the leftover fish, so I guess I'll just have to wait. Second to last day, and I get to check out Nook's new store. And this place is nice, especially with all its new items, like this sign that I used to my fullest potential. And selling a lot of the items I had yesterday allowed me to clear my last debt. Thank God. Since it's the second to last day though, I really did prioritize talking to my villagers, as I think I'm actually gonna miss them. Maybe not Mint, but everyone else, probably. I was, planning to end the day on a high note, but I didn't get that luxury as I found this in the ground. Why was there a hamster cage buried? First off, they want to eat a turkey. Now they're burying hamsters? Guys, I'm terrified. Guys, I'm so scared. Guys, I'm so scared. Day 30, the last day. I headed to Nook's where he told me about my new debt. Thank God this is the last day. You think I'm paying that back? Nope. Since it's the last day though, I did sell my turnips, not making that much of a profit, but I really don't have any more time. I redecorated my house again, specifically adding this cute gyroid. But other than that, I feel pretty content. There's just nothing else I could do that would matter. Obviously, this was my first time playing, so there's definitely a lot in the game that I missed, but you can totally tell me in the comments on your way to hit the subscribe button, and hopefully I can see you when the next video comes out. With the announcement of the Switch 2 and possibly a new Animal Crossing on the horizon, I have made it my goal to play 30 days of every Animal Crossing game, this time being Animal Crossing Wild World. The goals for this 30 days are finishing at least one section of the museum, 3 golden tools, and checking out some of the new holidays they created. Now that we've established the goals, let's begin. I'll start by saying I do change the video quality. It'll be fixed. Give me a minute. But anyway, our first scene in this game actually isn't KK Slider. It is Cap'n. He asked me the time of day, and of course I lied. And thus began the questions. The way to get specific faces in this game are to answer these questions correctly, or the way you want to. And I didn't do that last time. I came prepared this time though. This face still looks kind of stupid, but this is the one we're going with. Hopefully, if I answer these right. So, It's calming. He then asked my name, and I made a grave error of putting my name with a heart. I thought it would be fun, but it ends up looking a little suspicious. But I do want a girl model, so I guess I'll thank him for the compliment. The next written question was what town I'll be visiting, and I had no idea what to put, but I thought since my channel is already pretty clown themed, I could go with the name Circus. Also, if you want to join this apparent circus, totally hit the subscribe button. Wink wink. I continue to answer his questions, like asking him to butt out of my personal business, saying that shopping convinced me to move, and that I really do not have a lot of cash. Here goes suspicious capping again. Weirdo. Ew. But thankfully, that is where the awkward conversation ended, as we have finally arrived in Circus. Oh, I just show up like this? Oh god. Oh, I look dreadful. Yeah, I did not take into account my hair at all. I guess I'll just be walking around like this now. But the first thing on my agenda was talking to someone in the town hall, the exact place that I arrived at. This is where I met Pelly, the civic center clerk who was actually expecting me. Apparently Tom Nook has been in a giving mood and has already got a place for me set up. Pretty suspicious. He wasn't really that nice to me last time. She then gave me a map to look at my home, and I am just 2 steps away from the town hall. Not much of a walk. And yeah, I'd say this place is pretty modest. It even comes with a room upstairs that I can't decorate, but can save my progress at the end of the day by using the bed instead of a gyroid like the GameCube version. As soon as I came out, Tom Nook finally showed his face, explaining that he created this house exactly to my vision and that I now have to pay 19,800 bells. Yeah, I cannot pay that! But he was actually nice to me this time and just said I could pay him as much as I could every day. Again, suspicious. Or another option would be to work for him. I didn't even get a say in this, by the way. He just says it and now I have to. So, cool. Instead of doing that, I actually headed over to my villagers' places, as the only villager I was really familiar with was Margie, a normal personality elephant. I met Pate, who I totally thought was a boy for multiple days during this playthrough, but we're gonna ignore those times. She is a peppy duck. And finally, Kurt. Am I thinking of the right person when I think of Kurt? Is Kurt a bear? A big bear, big brown bear with a star on his face? Ah! Oh, I was close! Hey, MVP, get it? Why is he mad at me? I made a cute joke. Kurt, of course, is a very, very cranky bear. This is also when I fully registered that my town's fruit are oranges, and that there are signs everywhere. Fisherman's Creed, watch your rivals move, it pulls away. Full bag. I didn't know we were speaking in proverb. Okay. Fisherman's Creed, unseen fish cannot be found. Unseen bait won't lure. This is a dumb way of saying, hey, if your fish can't see the bait, you're not catching any fish. Okay, Animal Crossing. You're cute. Ah! My foliage! Finally, I headed over to Nook's shop. He gave me some work clothes to change into, and then asked me to plant some trees and flowers in the area. And honestly, I chose pretty bad spots. They're not that great. The next mission he has for me is introducing myself to the other villagers, which I already did. But this time, when I talked to Margie, she actually asked me when my birthday was, and to make the playthrough a little cooler, I thought to make March 3rd my birthday. Sound off in the comments if your birthday is March 3rd. I guess I'm celebrating for you. Otherwise, everyone else was the same, except Tortimer, the mayor. I made him mad at me by answering who I thought was the most respected out of these answers. I did not say the mayor, so after that awkward convo, I just headed back to Nook. I then delivered some furniture to Pate, wrote a very detailed, nice letter to Kurt for being a valued customer, and as we know, Animal Crossing characters clearly cannot read and are stupid as hell, but surely he'll understand my nice message. Yeah, I was wrong. It was such a nice letter. How are you this dumb? I then took a carpet to Margie, watering can to Kurt, and got to write a wonderful message about how awesome Tom Nook is on the village's bulletin board. All of that boiling down to just 1,400 bells taken off of my debt. And of course, I have to figure out how to get the rest. Yay! My idea was taking as many oranges as I could and selling them, which actually gave me a significant amount of profit, but instead of paying back my debt, I used my newfound cash to buy a fishing rod and a shovel, thus ending my day. On day 2, I opened my map to find a new villager already. Blair, a peppy squirrel, has an interesting tagline that I don't really like, but at least there's another new interesting character on the island. Speaking of interesting characters, I'm on the hunt for some snowballs to make a snowman. Winter is ending soon, and if I can brag, I'm really good at making perfect snowmen. It's one of my few talents. I had to go on a hunt around town, but eventually found one that I lost almost instantly. It broke on a tree. While I waited for the snow to respawn, I actually tried to hit my rocks. Because one rock in the town will always get bells, and I clearly needed money for that debt, I say as I instead use that money to buy a watering can. A watering can that I do need, so investing. I also use that money to buy myself a beret. Day 2 and I can already get rid of my stupid hairdo. Kind of. Since I was at the Able Sisters, I did say hello to them, but Sable really didn't want to talk. Don't worry, we'll continue to pester her. I went and paid off most of my debt, and to get the remaining few, I decided to try fishing. And let me tell you, this sucks. Oh my god. These fish move so goddamn fast. It doesn't even matter if you throw the line right in front of their face. They move too fast. I caught 3. What the hell? That did it though, so now I'm debt-free. For 2 seconds, because Nook gave me the option of upgrading my house a bit. But the issue is that it is so expensive. I actually just don't think I'm gonna pay it off. It's not like there's interest. I can just leave it and never pay it back. You know what I can't leave though? My perfect snowman. I need to find those snowballs. And luckily, I didn't fail this time, and you guessed it, made the perfect snowman. I'm glad he can see that as well. Really do appreciate it. Surprisingly, this is not the only thing I did today, as one of my goals is completing a section of the museum, and that section I want to be the dinosaurs. So every day I need to make sure I donate the fossils I find at the museum. Blathers is very grateful for my charity, but I noticed there's a lot more to the facility. The Roost is Brewster's little coffee shop where I can come in and get a cup of coffee for 200 bells. Is it worth it? Probably not, as it does literally nothing. It's just a drink. The other area is upstairs, an observatory that Celeste occupies. And if you couldn't tell, she is in fact Blather's sister. But instead of artifacts, she likes constellations. I had the chance to make one, but I did really bad. So no, I don't want to see this constellation in the sky on April 13th. Thank you. And on that horribly sad note, I ended day 2. Day 3 is exciting because I updated my graphics. Yay! But that also means I have a visitor. This is Resetti, a fourth wall breaking mole, that is now mad at me for forgetting to save my game. But look, I had to see if I updated my graphics. Because yeah, they didn't really work for a moment. Though this is literally how I found out one of my favorite villagers is now in my town. I'll spare you the footage of me screaming though, don't worry. This conversation with Resetti goes on for 5 minutes, and I just sped through it. I really do not care. But finally, he goes away and I get to look in my mail for a little gift from a perfect snowman. Looks so nice in my upgraded room. But when I left my house, there was a strange man at my door. An insurance broker! This sketchy ass otter was trying to talk up this plan, but I know it's a scam. That did not stop him from trying to follow me though. Gross. So I had to leave my house and instead went to rodeos. I love rodeo. Look at how cute and sweet he is. I love him. Not as much as Marcel, but he is definitely a top 5. And of course, he is a lazy bull. I got up to my usual collecting fossils, but of course on the second day I found these. I already have a repeat fossil. What the hell? So luckily I get a bit of cash. And with this newfound cash, I bought a net that I can't even use because it's winter. And a ski mask. Way cooler than the beret in my opinion. I wanted to make a snow lady for my snowman because he seems to want one really bad. But it's really hard when every 2 seconds a villager tries to talk to me. With weird convos, by the way. Margie got hate mail, yet she's totally into it. Kurt also got hate mail, but he loved the queasy feeling he got from it. I'm starting to get a little scared of this town. Alas, I had no idea that snow ladies weren't even a thing in this version and just made a sad non-perfect snowman on accident. But what a strange way to end day 3. The morning of day 4, I did a lot of talking. I hit up the Abel sisters, who clearly have some beef. Mabel is constantly yelling at Sable, and Sable is close to losing it, but it was really just the same dialogue over and over again. I do also have somebody else to see this morning, as Joan, a turnip seller, is visiting today. As y'all know, I want 3 golden tools, and to get the golden axe, there's a long, drawn-out quest that involves a red turnip. It is expensive, but I need to give one to a walrus whenever he visits my town. Luckily, if I get unlucky, red turnips sell for so much if treated properly, so at least I have that. When visiting Nook's shop for some flowers, he actually told me he will be closing shop so he could remodel, which hopefully won't cause any issues for me. But coming down here also made me realize that I have a new villager, a new little horsey villager. This is Buck, a jock who is now in the town. But surprisingly, this day ended abruptly as I donated more dinosaurs for my completion goal, made another snowman, because I'm obsessed, and ended there. Day 5 was also pretty chill as I found a new villager, Barbara? I don't love the name, I'm not gonna lie. But she's a snooty sheep that lives here now. I do love her look though, she's really cute. So cute in fact, I've started my flower garden outside of her house. To get perfection in the town for a golden watering can, I need a certain amount of flowers, and at least today, Nook is closed. So I should work on trying to grow more flowers by myself. I did the usual things by talking to Sable again, which made things worse. Oh my god. Donated all 3 fossils, and for some reason, this is the day I foraged for money. The day Nook's is closed. Great. So I just dumped everything outside the store. That'll definitely be really annoying to deal with on day 6. It was definitely really annoying to try and sell all that. But I have some good money now. Money that I used on more flowers. Flowers we are really gonna need, so worth it. Another day goes by, another new villager, Pierce, a jock eagle, and Sahara is an NPC who's visiting today. She's a carpet seller who sadly lost her address list and doesn't know where her customers live. So of course, for some reason, it's my issue now. The first customer was Tom Nook, who ordered a little rug. I didn't get anything in return, by the way. He just told me to say hi to her. How rude. The next customer was Phyllis, who isn't even here because it's Pelly's shift during the day, not her. Luckily though, I gave it to Pelly and it still worked out. The last order was to Mabel, who got a wall package, whatever that means. I also took the time in the shop to buy myself a new fit. Hell yeah. And obviously talk to Sable. Returning back to Sahara, I did finally get a little gift. A wallpaper. A rare wallpaper. Speaking of rare, I also finally got to bury a shovel to hopefully get a golden shovel. Weird way to do it, I know. But waking up on day 7, yeah, we did it. This is officially one step closer to getting my full golden tool goal done. I also tried to make a money tree, but I failed. so maybe I'll try again in the future. Of course, I don't forget to water my flowers and radish, but while doing so, I see a tent in the background. When I got there, I was just yelled at and said I'm not allowed in Crazy Red's tent unless I know the member password, which I do not, so I guess I've got some searching to do. I went to Kurt's house to see if he'd know anything, but oh my god, his house is so sad. There's nothing here! Literally, because he also didn't have the password. Luckily, the next person I talked to, Margie, did have the password. Okay, my friend. Finally, getting me into the tent. I meet Red, a very mischievous fox, who finds out I'm obviously not a member of his weird organization, and the price to be said member is so goddamn expensive, which is why I took it. Horrible idea. But not only that was a horrible idea, I bought an overpriced painting to hopefully donate it to the museum. And of course, it was a fake. Like, yeah, of course it was. The last of my day was sadly spent fishing to try and get all of my cash back. Cash that I also used to get some more tools. I have a little luck on day 8 as I found a 4-leaf clover. And Wendell is here. This is the person I need to give my red turnip to get started on my possible golden axe tool, which works really well for me because I got the turban that I needed to give to Sahara when I see her again. To then continue my golden tool quest, I needed to start my plan on getting the golden water bucket. The idea is to divide the town into 16 acres and get a specific amount of greenery, 3 flowers and over 12 trees. In this game, I can actually put custom designs on the floor, which is how I marked each section. But y'all, this took so much longer than I thought it would, and I couldn't get it done in an hour, so sorry. Another thing I did was go to the Able Sisters, where I actually had a much better chat. I really think we're making good progress on being friends. Day 9 is sadly where tragedy struck, as I got a very unexpected letter in the mail. What? What do you mean? What do you mean you moved out? My 3rd favorite villager just left? Why? Why did you leave? And if the squeaks were an indication of anything, I obviously was not expecting this. Funny enough, I was actually under the impression that Kurt was leaving, so I was a little shocked. I had to move past it though, getting myself a new hat and trying to work on getting that golden water bucket. Once my town hits perfection, I have to keep it that way for an entire 15 days, so I am really running out of time to make this work. And I probably would have gone faster if these villagers would stop talking to me. I only have an hour to play each day, and they're eating up my time. So is making a pathway, but it looks pretty, so oh well. Of course, it started raining though, which is what concluded this sad and miserable day. Day 10 was actually exciting as it was the flea market, but that excitement left as soon as I realized who was outside my door. I at first got him to leave, saying no to his little insurance scam. Then I felt bad. He's just a little otter. I love otters. So I went back and decided to do his questionnaire. He asked me questions like when I would want Crazy Red to visit, if I trusted him, have I put thought into my future plans, and this resulted in him obviously saying I need insurance right now. And this is where it all went wrong. Yeah, it's a loop. And you know what I did? Exited out of the game. Yeah, you're not catching me, buddy. Obviously, at this point, I am used to Resetty showing up and just do not care. So after my 5-long-minute chat with the friend, I could finally get on with my day. The flea market is on, which means I can go and basically ask for items in people's houses if I want them. And I started first with Pate, who I noticed was actually sick and will not be taking part in this flea market. Instead, I went and got her medicine to hopefully clear up whatever she's got going on, but we'll come back to that. Blair was the next person in her house, but the one item I wanted, of course, she wouldn't part with. So I left, leading me to Barbara, who I totally scammed. As soon as I saw that piano, I knew I needed it, and even though it was the centerpiece in her room, she gave it away at a pretty low price. Same thing with her sofa, but she had 2 of them anyways, so oh well. Since this was a flea market and I have a bunch of crap lying around my house, I decided to go and wait to see if anyone would show up at my place. And my first customer was Kurt. I hated this guy. Do you know how many times he tried to scam me? I went back and forth so much that I finally just kicked him out, resulting in Pierce instead showing up. He bought 1 furniture item, but like Kurt, couldn't fathom that I was selling my beret at 90 bells. Get out! Even though a lot of my time was taken up, I still made sure to donate my fossils and even bugs, lastly contributing to my trees and flowers that needed to be planted. Day 11, I did my usual rounds when I noticed a new house on the land. It's Dizzy. Is that an elephant? Yes, I was right. Dizzy is in fact a lazy elephant who is here now. I planned to chill out today and plant trees and flowers that I had gotten in their respective areas. But of course, Margie had fleas. I struggled a lot trying to get them off, but eventually I did. Look at how stupid this visual looks. That is not my editing. As well as Pate still being sick. I completed a dinosaur, gave Barbara a great new catchphrase, and really just ended my day with more fruit tree planting. Day 12 is my fake birthday! So of course, as I got online, Lair was there to greet me, giving me a cute little birthday cake as a surprise. But that's where it ends. No, I'm not kidding. I went and talked to every villager in my town, and none of them wished me a happy birthday. And of course Pate didn't, cause she's still f***ing sick! And Margie has fleas again, which she blames on Buck. Absolutely insane drama. Besides doing my usual tasks, I did notice there was a new tent that I had never seen at the plaza. Katrina is visiting the town, who can see my future for 100 bells. Since it's my fake birthday, I asked for today's fortune, which felt less like my future and more like it's already happened since I did threaten a bunch of my animals today. But yeah, perhaps it meant nothing. So I kind of lied when I said I talked to all my animals because no, I forgot about Barbara, who actually is leaving. It's not like I can get her to stay or anything, so of course, there goes another villager that I actually really liked. Ah, sorry, there was a creature at my door again. But day 13 is actually La-di-da day, the day where I get to go around to the animals' houses and they tried and sing me a town tune to replace our current one. I'm not gonna waste your time. They sucked. Bad Apple is much, much better. Cause yes, that is now my town theme. In bigger, more exciting news, I went to check on the town's progress with Pelly, and we've successfully hit our perfection rating. Now I just have to keep this up for 15 days straight, and oh boy. Even though the town looks janky in some parts, I'm too afraid to touch anything, so it'll remain this way. I thought I was dreaming day 14, but I'm not. I still have perfection rating, which means besides plucking weeds and watering flowers, I can do other things, like visiting Pate, who, yes, is still sick, or more importantly, fixing my god-awful mistake of a constellation with Celeste, getting some coffee with Brewster, and doing some good old fishing. I lied about the good part. I still hate fishing. Day 15 was pretty chill as I mostly did town upkeep, but I did check to see how many dinosaur parts I'm missing. It's a lot. I'm actually starting to worry about not being able to hit my goal, especially when I keep getting repeats. But to be fair, I can't really help it, so. Ending the day, I talked to Sable, who is now a genuine homie. Benedict? Oh, it's a bird. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't know they would both die. Oh god. So I had to fix that immediately. But of course I was right. Benedict is in fact a bird who has a lazy personality type. Pretty happy with this new villager, not gonna lie. He's a cutie. On day 50,000 of giving pain medicine, I ran into someone who I was not expecting to be in my town. Ooh. Hello? This was a shocking thing to just say to me, but this is Shrunk, a therapist and part-time comedian. And his whole character is teaching me how to use emotions. Wow, so expressive. I told him I'm down for a lesson, which involves me tapping his face to make an expression. But that's really all he had for me, so I just donated my fossils and ended the day. Day 17, Nooks was actually closed for remodeling, so none of that, I guess. Luckily, I had leftover medicine for a still sick Pate, but ultimately was interested in Red visiting my town. I wanted to give the painting he sold another try, and luckily, it was real this time! So I get one singular painting in my exhibit now. Day 18, I met with my mortal enemy. Okay, how mean is she gonna be to me this time? Oh yeah, just wait. If you don't know, this is Gracie, the designer genius in this universe. And of course, she gets mad at me for my outfit, which isn't even that bad. So to help me discover my own style, she wants me to take a quiz to get my fashionista badge. I'm licensed to fight fashion faux pas wherever they dare to appear. Honestly, that is the most she has ever said. I did say yes though, so she asked me various questions like what I think of fashion trends and how I sit to avoid wrinkles. I do think the last question was the most important though, which was design patterns I liked. I said plaid cause I'm stupid. And you know what style that got me? Redneck. She thinks I dress like a redneck. Even better, the outfit she gave me was a moldy shirt. I obviously sold that in the new Nook store. He really needs more clothes. In other news, Pate is finally not sick. Oh my god. And I made Benedict mad for thinking he was in a relationship with Pierce. Toxic masculinity is strong in my town. Day 19, I was actually able to see my constellation, which was really cool. But other than dino hunting and watering flowers, I didn't do much. The same thing can also be said on day 20, as I was super nervous for the upcoming fishing tourney on day 21. Pause for 2 seconds because I got some mail I wasn't expecting. What? Why? Oh, I guess I don't care that much, but that's ridiculous. Okay. No. I do care. Why are my animals leaving me? Is it because I called him gay? I'm kind of sad. I had to pick myself up though, because yes, the fishing tourney is today, but it's hosted by Tortimer, not Chip, which was a little disappointing. The idea of the competition was to get the biggest fish. Doesn't matter what kind, just the biggest fish. So of course I headed to the beach. As y'all know, I hate this. It's so annoying catching fish, but I wanted to catch a couple just to see what I'm working with. My first fish was 17.5 inches, going up against a 38.9 inch sea bass. Bro. I gave him my crustacean carp, which was definitely more in the ballpark, but not good enough. This time I only went for meaty guys, scaring away any small goobers. Ultimately caught a big sea bass. I thought it would do well, but not 44.9 inches well. But that also means I won? I break one fish record and I did it. I'm the master fisher now. Yippee, I guess. Day 22, I woke up to a letter in a bottle that I vehemently ignored, and also used today to try out my timer. It started immediately, and I realized it was gonna count my fish and bugs, so I had to get going quick. I chose to go after bugs, which was hella dumb because I couldn't find any, after 3 minutes only ending up with 4, which I sold for literally no profit. Oh my god, not worth it at all. I had a gut feeling waking up on day 23 that there was somebody new in the town. I get a piggy? Do I actually? Oh. How are you in the exact same spot that Babero is in? What? This was, no, I'm not even kidding, like this is the exact same spot because this is where the flowers were. Ah, it's not a pig. That's the first time I've got one wrong. Oh, because Agnes beef. Bro, I'm stupid. red! Just a little bit. But yes, this is Angus, a cranky bull, who actually has pretty nice eyelashes. Today I plan to talk to my villagers, which resulted in the craziest present I've ever gotten. Oh! What? What? Bro, it's just gonna burn my house down. I continued hating talking to Kurt, but also got some insider info from Blair. What? Oh, girl. Did you know last week she accused him of giving her fleas? Holy, and their neighbors too? Girl, what is she doing? And that is how the day ended. Oh my god, I forgot that was in my house. I decided to keep up my good relations on day 24 by sending each and every villager in the town a letter. Some not so nice, but otherwise my real feelings. Going back on my convo with Blair yesterday, Margie and Buck are literally matching. I'm done. Something is totally going on. Sadly, I ended the day by getting all repeat dinosaurs. I got a little luckier with the dinosaurs on day 25, but even luckier on day 26. What? No way. Thank God. Yes. Yes. All it took was some hate mail and I did it. And not only that, but Sahara has finally made it to my town. So I quickly grabbed the turban, but the guide said to not give it to her at first because she does have the chance of giving you a vase and not the massage chair I needed. But I guess that's where my luck ran out. Ah! That's not what I need. Okay. Shoot. I exited out of the game because I thought that would just reload the day, but no. Exiting out of the game without saving just gets rid of Sahara entirely. I got one step closer to getting my golden axe and screwed it up. Yeah, there was a chance I couldn't finish the rest of the quest anyways, but now I really had no chance. The next day, I was also expecting to get my golden watering can, but that also didn't happen. I really felt like giving up for the day, but of course still needed to do all of my daily tasks. With the days I have left, not only can I not get this axe, but the dinosaurs are also impossible to complete. Really, just putting a damper on my entire day. Which leads me to day 28. A holiday. I'm not gonna lie, I've been so depressed. I don't even know what that is. What is the idea? Oh, I get compliments? I literally just get to go up to villagers and they compliment me? Well, kind of. I also have to give them a compliment back, which some people don't appreciate. I still have some that do though, so that's also nice. The best part about these compliments is that they don't keep the swear words. But Dizzy seemed happy enough. He just does not know why. Though this is not the only thing I did today, as I wanted to check again for my watering can. Yay! If I can't get the fossils done and I can't get the stupid axe quest done, at least I got this one done. 2 out of 3 golden tools is not a bad accomplishment, and I'm actually really happy. Oh, you're new? Jitters! Frog or a duck, right? Duck. Bird! I knew that. Okay, I got really bad at this. Yes, this is Jitters, a jock who is now here, and how I ended day 28. Since I don't have to worry about a perfect town anymore, I jumped all the way to the flower festival, which looks even prettier with all the sakura trees. But because of my time travel, I'm actually missing a crap ton of flowers, but I did collect some to put next to my house, as the objective of this holiday is to have the best flower garden. And since this is the second to last day, I wanted to do more than that. I wanted to make my town look nicer, which involves me putting more paths down and getting rid of any pesky trees in the middle of the road. I knew dang well I couldn't finish my museum collection, and honestly, I don't want to go back there because of course Cap'n was hitting on me again in the coffee shop, but I realized I have a bunch of money. And you remember that debt I said I wouldn't complete? I totally can. I just needed 30,000 more bells. At first, I was selling fruit, which was dumb as hell. But after a couple of fishing, I managed to do it. Cleared the debt I never thought I could at the beginning of the series. Not only do I have a pretty town now, but also a bigger house, leading us into the last day. No way, Disney left. I just made like a cute pathway to his house and everything. Ah, are we trolling? Oh, that upsets me heavily. Ooh, I hate it. I also hate that because of the time travel, all the flowers just do not look good. I also realized that I don't even know who won the Flower Fest because the results actually get posted a day later. So on day 31, because I didn't get mail, I'm assuming I didn't win, which is super cool. Yeah, of course I didn't win. Nor did I win all of the challenges I set for myself, but I felt really good about all the holidays and the golden tools I did get. Thank you again so much for watching, and subscribe if you haven't already to not miss the rest of the series. See ya! Released in 2008, City Folk was the third Animal Crossing installment in the series, and this time for the Wii. It sadly seems to be a lot of people's least favorite Animal Crossing, with more mixed reviews than others, but I'm here to test that by playing 30 days. I want to experience a lot of what the game can offer, make as many mixed flowers as I can, and most importantly, make a ton of money. It is very, very important in this game, so let's not delay any longer and start the video. What? Yeah, Rover is the one to greet me, and not only that, but is here to pick me up. He kept talking about how nice it will be living on my own and whatnot, but little does he know the state of the economy, so no thank you. Oh, I'm getting on a bus? Okay. The bus, of course, is driven by Cap'n and his little mini Cap'n figure, but ultimately where me and Rover get to talk. His little feet. Rover, you're so cute. Is it July 21st, 2025 today? Is it 7:35? Sure! Sure it is, Rover. He then asked for my name, as somehow he didn't already know. Yeah, my name is Otter, if y'all didn't know, since you may be new to the channel. Consider subscribing. Wink wink. I get the girl model, cause I'm cute. And now I have to think of a good town name. Yep, we're going to Dr. Perky, the off-brand of my favorite soda ever. Time passes as we chat for a bit, even looking at the pretty, god-awful town design, and it's time for me to hop off at Dr. Perky. I don't know what I'm gonna look like. Oh, what if I look like a rat? I don't look like a rat, but I will pause here to say I completely forgot about the nunchucks. So I walk around with a Wiimote for a little bit. It gets fixed really quickly though, so don't worry about that. Oh, pears? I saw that. Oh! Can I yoink? Interesting. I took myself to the town hall to get greeted by Pelly. She welcomes me into town and tells me about all the houses available and that I should go and take a look. Sadly, they are in lame spots, but of course I need to check them out and ignore the squirrel for now. But the house was fine, I just still wanted to check out the others. As I left though, I got greeted by Tom Nook, and he seems pretty happy about meeting me. I tell him that this was not the house I wanted though, and instead went to the one that I do. Wow, how nice. I told Tom Nook and he told me about the saving mechanic in the attic, which is just going to bed. And then we got to the payment. Something I was a little too poor for. And he didn't even care. He was just like, yeah, whatever, pay me by transfer. Cause he had more important business. Getting me a job. Just kidding, getting a job. Again, for the third time in a row, I am made to be a little helper at Nook's Cranny. Deserved. Yeah, that kind of made him mad. So I guess I'm working at Nook's. The first mission he had for me was to introduce myself to all of the townsfolk, including the mayor, Mortimer, who really is only useful during the holidays. And don't say I'm being mean, he said it himself. The first villager I met, however, was Blair, whom I have already had in a town before, Sydney, a super cute koala, Apollo, the one that literally everyone knows, and this cutie, Rod. Look at him. I love him. Wandering further, I met Drake and ended with Winnie. Okay. I got some good folk in my town. Pleased with the outcome, I went to see Nook, who made me, of course, put on a uniform before beginning for the day. Starting first with making Nook's a little more lively with flowers and trees, then going to take this furniture to Blair, who for some reason gave me a scarecrow in return. Not only that, but she also asked for my birthday. Of course, I lied and said August 2nd, as it would be a day that we played, and went back to the shop. Second up, I have to write a letter to Rod, who obviously is becoming one of my favorites. So I gave him a cutie little promotional letter and sent it off. You know, I really didn't ask or care, so maybe don't speak to me. Okay, Nook, do the work yourself then. But no, I had to deliver a carpet to Sydney, who also gave me a gift, some flooring. The second to last job for the day was giving Rod a watering can. And now my favorite job, writing a promotional post up on the bulletin board. He is gonna love that one. Even with all that work, I literally just made 1,400 bells, which still leaves me with 18,400. Insane. But of course, I was glad to be done. So with the remaining time I had left to play, picked up some pears to sell to Nook, and bought myself a couple of tools, a shovel and fishing rod, thus ending my first day. Day 2, I started with a jump scare, as I ended my day correctly, so why is he here? If you didn't know, this is Resetti, a very angry mole who gets even crazier if you exit the game without saving. Yeah, he likes to break the fourth wall. But no, apparently he just wanted to come and say hi. Hopefully we won't have to see him again. I did get my first piece of mail though, from the Happy Home Academy, but it definitely looks like spam. Who writes bang at the end of their business letter? And even in this rainy weather, I still needed to make money. But on my way to collect some seashells, I ran into a house I don't remember. I knew it! I was like, that house doesn't look familiar. Who's that? Oh, I know Moose. It's a mouse, right? Yep, a little jock type has wormed its way into my town. Interesting character. But I still had a mission to finish, and it was sadly not as profitable as I thought, but good enough to get me a net. I'm also gonna get another shovel. Why? Because getting a golden shovel is the same way as it was in Wild World, so that should be pretty dang easy. I didn't do that today for some reason, so don't get your hopes up. Hello? Yeah, wasn't expecting the Camel Sahara to be here, who's really excited by recycling. Yeah, I can give you my wallpaper. So I have to get a wallpaper from somebody else? Yeah, this thought of asking other people was actually really difficult, as even after asking literally everyone, even annoying the new guy, no one had any for me, meaning I couldn't do anything for Sahara. I'm very sad about it. But you know what isn't sad? Getting work done. I gathered up all the flowers I could and arranged them, so hopefully they might start breeding once I get a water bucket. And lastly, I dug up some fossils in the town with one of my shovels, but we'll get to that on day 3. Day 3 starts off with a little guy outside my house named Wendell, and apparently he is starving, even though there's a pear tree right next to him. So I gave him one, being the kind soul I am, and in return, he gives me a design. A KK slider design. Look at me go. Wandering around town, I do in fact see a new house belonging to the one and only Rodeo. I love Rodeo. Rodeo is like one of my top 5 favorite villagers of all time. Are you serious? Ooh, wait, I'm so excited. Yay! Hello! Picking off where I left yesterday, I do go to the museum, meeting Blathers, the bug-repulsed night owl, who was more than happy to take a look at my fossils. Starting off strong. Not only that, but the museum does have a cafe, where Rod was, apparently, and where I met Brewster. He gets mad if you like cold coffee, so yeah, I have to burn my mouth while drinking this. And lastly, in the museum is Celeste. Quite obviously Blather's little sister, but Celeste actually likes the stars and constellations. But of course she's a little tired, so I left her be. I spent most of the day fishing and even shoveled up my first gyroid. How cute. But I did get some bells for selling all of the fish, allowing me to get a watering can. Very useful for my flower production. The last thing in my day was giving Blair a horrible catchphrase. Day 4, I got a little letter from my mom, who gave me 1,000 bells as a present. Thanks. And of course, found a new villager house. This is a duck. This is a duck. 100%? Oh, I did press the wrong button. 100% this is a duck. Like a yellow duck? Aw, it's pink. I'm sorry. I then had some quests to do, like doing a chore for Rodeo, getting a rug in return, and then trying to get a squid for Rod. I tried many times. So much so that all the fish I sold completely paid off my debt to Tom Nook. Yeah, I'm debt free. Just kidding, I'm getting another house upgrade. So back into debt I go! Actually took this time to go visit the tailor's shop to see what they got up to. Sable doesn't really like me. That's fine. But also, I wanted to visit the city. So I went to the bus stop where Cap'n came and picked me up. I wasn't alone though, as Rover was also there. He talked about some fourth wall breaking shit. And eventually, it was time for me to get off the bus. Wow, how fancy looking! And all the cute little villagers I get to talk to. How cute! I first went to take a look at the marquee, where they had some shows to watch. And apparently, since it's my first time here, I'm getting a special performance. So I sat front row and got to watch Dr. Shrunk act in joy. That show lasted 2 seconds and was pretty awful, but I got an emotion out of it, so now I can be joyful. Someone who is not joyful though is Lyle, the manager at Happy Home Academy. This system ranks your house, and since I don't plan to do much with mine, I tried to opt out of their services, but I had to decline so many times. He would not stop complaining. Though he said if I ever needed to talk to him again, I could come back to the store, as he lives in the back room. Oh my god. The second place to visit was Gracie Grace, the luxury brand shop where most things are sold out. Dang. The next building to go into was the auction house, but this means absolutely nothing to me. This building is purely used if you have other people like friends playing the game, and I don't have those. But this game constantly shoves playing with other people down your throat, even the villagers begging me to bring my friends over. I am not kidding. The next place on my agenda was Kix, who's got a little shoe shining service. Look at all of the work he did. Cute. And next was Shampoodle, meeting Harriet, who I was very excited to see. She's got a salon where you can get a new hairstyle or even turn into a me. God no. But of course I wanted to change my hair. So I got myself this little do, finally getting blue hair. Then took my fresh new style over to Katrina, who is a fortune teller. But my god, does it hurt to get your fortune told? So, thanks, ma'am. Lastly, taking myself to this conspicuous door, where I got yelled at. So if I want to get into this room, I've got to get an invitation from one of my villagers. But not today, as I had to end my day there. I wake up day 6 to a newly expanded house with my fish that I will get into later. Then go to see what my new debt is. 120,000 bells. What? I decided to ignore it for now, watering all of my flowers, digging up fossils to donate, and doing some chores for villagers. Like giving Sydney this cute new shirt. Not only that, but Drake wanted a Dorado, one of the most rare fish in the game. And I tried, but alas, no. My day wasn't too awful though, as I got an invitation from Drake to go to Red Shop, the door I couldn't get into in the city, but I don't have time for that today, so I went to bed. Waking up day 6, I went fishing as it's later in the day when most expensive fish are roaming about. See, the reason I need these fish are for the flea market. The flea market being where villagers and I can sell things in our houses to other villagers. But for double the price. Yup, I can sell my villagers really expensive fish and make a crap ton of money. So obviously, after getting a good haul for today, I set them up in my room. That was not all I did though, as I went to Red's with my newly acquired invitation and decided to actually buy one of his goods. He's a pretty sly fox who's not very trustworthy, but I spent almost 4k bells anyways, taking this new painting to Blathers to donate, and of course, he told me it was a fake. Who would have guessed, right? And to make myself feel better, I went to the Able Sisters to buy this cute little hat. Yup, killing it. Day 7 is the flea market, the day I have been waiting for. So I just camped out in my house, and then Apollo arrived. He wanted my tape deck, but I gave it to him anyways, I guess. Then thankfully, a very hefty priced fish, all before leaving. My next guest was Drake, who bought an eel, arowana, and goldfish. Moose was after, taking an eel and 2 piranhas. And lastly, had Freckles come in and take a couple more very expensive fish, totaling to over 100,000 bells. So yeah, a pretty successful flea market. Day 8 was pretty chill with me doing all of my normal chores in the town, except this is now when I can only find 2 fossils. And it literally remains that way for the rest of the series. I'm not even kidding. And also finding out this day that Nook will be closed tomorrow for remodeling. With the rest of my time, however, I actually used it to make some paths. The biggest complaint this game gets is its deteriorating grass, so I wanted to combat that as quickly as possible by getting the paths down. Still don't have a way to cut down trees, so I'll be running into them for a little bit. But the biggest thing I actually did today was burying my extra shovel. Yup, I just now remembered I had it. So when I woke up day 9, of course it was the first thing I went and got, but I ran into a bunch of new folk. First being Pete, the male bird for the town. He's quite a busy guy. And my new villager, male. The now 3rd duck I have in my town. But she's pretty cute at least. I I also went to check out this area where I found Copper and Booker, and even the Lost and Found, where I picked up this sick new fit, and then got me glasses from the sisters. A good chunk of my day I spent writing letters to everyone, but Freckles and Mail, because I didn't have enough paper. Then went to the city, where I found Phineas. Whoa! What? Balloons! Wait, these are cute! Hello? Balloon? Bunny balloon, a pinwheel, or a bubble? I like the bunny balloon! Wait, can I hold it like now? It's a pink one? Ooh. It's so cute! Oh, wait, this is the best time I've ever had in my life. Then I decided to ruin that good vibe by hitting up the marquee to get a new emotion. Disappointment. Ending my day there. The start of day 10, I got the worst news ever. What? What do you mean? But I did want to get a YouTube comment saying that if I pester them enough, they won't leave, so I will gladly be doing that. Of course, if you have more tips like that, definitely tell me in the comments on your way to hit the subscribe button. Wink wink. In the meantime, the new Nook store is open. How nice. Where I was able to get a sick slingshot. And then Rod had a quest for me that I spent all day on. He wanted a specific stag beetle, and all I was catching were cicada and a non-saw stag beetle. But whatever. Not like I cared or anything. Instead, I actually used all my flea market money to completely pay off my debt. Yeah, I'm free now. Yeah, okay. Day 11, I got my new upgraded house and the letters from everyone I wrote to. And for once in my Animal Crossing journey, they were all nice to me. Of course, Tom Nook told me about my new debt that I am not doing. Funny. So instead, I took myself to rodeos where I pestered him a bit, and wouldn't you know, he's gonna try and stay in the town. So to maybe help with the convincing process for him, I decided to go and make the town flag. I got the wrong name for a minute. Don't mind me. And even went to do the town tune, which this time is KK Bosa. Quite a lot of talking happened day 12, most with my villagers, but one in particular with Pascal, another otter NPC in the game, but a very strange one at that. Sadly, in the conversation department, Sydney decided she wanted to move, and I thought about it for a minute and actually said okay. Don't get mad at me, Sydney fans. But I did want to see some new villagers. The last thing I did in my town was actually hide and seek with Rodeo, Winnie, and Drake, which I did not do well in. I had 10 minutes to find them, and it took me a whole 7, and by luck, I did not know he was there. Getting a little gyroid as a gift. At the end of the day, however, I went to the city to get a new emotion and saw Gracie Grace had a new collection. Super cute, but so goddamn expensive. Holy cow. Logging in day 13, I got a bit of a surprise. Is it? Oh, wait, what are they gonna do for me? Oh, I didn't think about that part. Are they actually putting something together for me? Ah! Hi, Rodeo. Thanks. That's so kind. Yeah, I hope you don't leave my town. I'm still stressed about that. After that, I kind of just got some mail from my mother about my birthday, but no one else really cared. Instead, I did my dailies, shot down my first balloon with a slingshot, caught a ton of fish, and contributed more to my town's path. Day 14 was also pretty chill because it was the fireworks show. How pretty. Everyone seemed to be excited, even Tortimer, who gave me a little Roman candle that goes away immediately upon use. In the meantime, I finally got an axe at Nook's, literally 14 days after starting this playthrough. Obviously cutting up a bunch of trees in my path, ending my day, handing over my sad 2 out of 3 fossils. We're doing things a little bit differently, and I'm very interested to see how they changed. I want to experience more in the game, but I can't do that within such a short amount of time, so I'm gonna have to time travel. But I realize that means some animals in my town may leave, because we're gonna have to time travel a little bit. It was about 2-3 weeks. The last time I played was on August 2nd. Oh, my hair! Oh, no! Yep, I traveled about 2 weeks ahead, but not much has changed. Not even Sydney has left the town yet. But what I did notice was a lot of my flowers being gone. Which, if you haven't noticed, I haven't even gotten a single hybrid flower. Even though I started breeding these day 3 of the playthrough. So I'm definitely a little salty. But I didn't really do much today, so we can move on to day 16, the bug off. Almost a month time traveled this time. My god. So before I go to the town square, I actually went and got rid of some weeds and then went to see Nat, a bug-obsessed chameleon, who is really weird. But for this bug off day, the goal was to get a rare bug to bring to him based on all these attributes. And I kind of struggled. None of the bugs I was even catching were rare or sizable, and he definitely knew that, considering I was 10 points behind first place. But somehow, after walking around, I spotted this little fellow. This little twig put me in first place with 66 points. What? Ending my day to hopefully wake up to a gold trophy in my mailbox. And I did. Day 17 though was fishing to get ready for another flea market, as I now had a new goal of getting another bridge in town. The cost of that bridge, however, being 200,000 bells. So yes, I had to completely fill my room with fish. I did give myself a break though, going to visit the city, first getting myself a new emotion, curiosity, and finally fixing my god-awful bed head, thus ending my day. Day 18 was another short time catching not short fish, but also getting a new villager. Welcome, Goldie, to Dr. Perky. I've never had her in my town before, and she's quite cute, so I am excited. I am also excited day 19 for the flea market. My house is filled, so thank God Rodeo shows up to look at my wares. He takes one of my most expensive fish and 2 other okay ones and end up leaving. Because yes, they can only buy 3 things. So knowing that information, I tried to be a little more tactical. When Goldie came over, she wanted a gar, but I wanted her to get one of my more expensive fish. So I said no. She eventually got not 1, but 2, but kept going after this gar. And I told her no so many times, she just left. Then I tried to be even more strategic and only showcase the ones I wanted to sell, but Moose and Blair came in just to leave immediately. Horrible idea. Luckily, Freckles wanted some fish, but at the end of the day, I couldn't even sell my leftover fish because Nook was remodeling. Great. In total though, I now have over 200,000 bells, so I feel a little okay. Nintendo was very proud of me being rich on day 20 by gifting me a tissue box. Thanks. And to get even more rich, I took all my leftover fish to the new Nook store to go and sell. I spent a lot of my day doing my dailies and even creating more pathways in town, but then I took myself over to the city, getting to see Phineas again. Not getting the balloons this time, but a little bubble blower. Literally, how cute. That probably hurts him though. Took myself to the marquee just to see Drunk. Haven't gotten the other guy at all. Kinda disappointing. And even more disappointing, finding out I can only own 4 emotions. No, I will not be taking Glee, I guess. The last thing I did was go over to get my fortune read by Katrina, which is always a slamming time. But I guess I'll be fine. Day 21 was a very chill talking to my villagers day, but a little more chill for Goldie as she had a cold, so I had to go and get her medicine. Otherwise, spending my time fishing and watering my still not hybrid flowers. Day 22, I woke up to a letter from the Czar of Halloween, an event I won't even get to do in this video, so I ignored it. But also got some interest from the Bank of Nintendo. Sick. With my bake though, I actually went to Pelly to donate my 200k bells, hopefully getting something for the town with this donation. And I know I complained yesterday, but oh my god, my first 2 hybrid flowers. What? Very exciting. Didn't even know this one existed, so cool. While watering other flowers though, I noticed a familiar camel in my town. Still kind of dejected from last time, but I still wanted to see if I could get some old carpet from my villagers. And wouldn't you know it, I was actually able to get some from my villagers. I mean, all I got in return from Sahara was more flooring, but it felt good to actually accomplish something. Even getting cute little lines like this from Winnie. How cute. Ending my day there. Day 23 started with a quest that I almost died trying to do. But Winnie and Rod were happy, so guess it's fine. What's better than fine, however, is going to check with Pelly about my 200,000 bell fund. And she tells me the good news. They're building a bridge. But wow, these are not good spots. I ended up choosing the one next to my house, but yeah, I'm shocked. As we're getting near the end of my time here, I decided to fix one of my paths because I've hated it, honestly, this entire time. And sadly, it just doesn't get any better. But luckily, I used more of my actual road instead. What I didn't know was that this bridge was gonna take a while, so I did time travel a bit, but I did want to show Autumn Moon. I got a wheat bundle. Thanks, Tortimer. But day 25, about 7 days later, the bridge was done, with Tortimer himself standing there for the opening ceremony. Which wasn't really a ceremony, more like him just waltzing around. Surprisingly, this was not the only guy on a bridge, as Pascal was on another bridge. But I did not have a scallop in my inventory, the item he's truly here for. So there he goes. Down a waterfall. The rest of my day though, I just spent casually fishing. Day 26, I was lucky for once. Rod asked me to get him a dragonfly, which was literally right next to him. Easiest quest of my life. I also went to the Able Sisters today and found the cutest piece of clothing. What? I know it's a bear, but it reminds me of an otter, which is so cute. So for a lot of my day today, I actually spent it trying to find the 3rd fossil that I can never find. Obviously failing, but instead taking myself to the museum. I haven't spent a lot of time with Celeste, so I decided to make a loaf of bread. I thought it was unique, okay? Then went to get myself some coffee before ending my day. Surprisingly to me, day 27 was the fishing tourney. Yeah, Chip is here and I am unprepared. He wants a fish bigger than 40.9 inches, so I got to work. Immediately, my first 2 catches were, I thought, good-sized sea bass. But Chip decided to tell me otherwise, only being 40.5 and 31.5. Bro. Afterwards, I just got plain unlucky. Every single one of these fish are so small. And not only that, but the biggest fish only got bigger. So I kind of had to give up, as I really couldn't get a bigger fish within an hour. Oh. He knew I was mad. I don't get anything. That's literally just a letter. I get absolutely nothing from that. Thank you. Crazy slap in the face this game gave me, by the way. But it doesn't end there. Because Rod wanted to move. No! Who do you think you are? Thankfully, this time I didn't have to pester him for days. He kind of gave up quickly. Just like me during the fishing tourney yesterday. To boost my mood, I went to town today, wanting to get a new emotion. But look at how fast the show was. I did not speed that up at all. What was that? Even the other animals here hated it. I also stopped by Lyle's because I wanted to see how he was doing. But no, he tried to loop me in an endless talking cycle, so I skedaddled. Ending my day with the quickest hide and seek of my life, ending it within 3 minutes. Day 29 is apparently Explorer's Day, which just gets me a sailboat model. That's it. But since this was the second to last day, I really wanted to talk to all of my villagers and get excited about some of these flowers I got. I'm still so shocked I was even able to get these flowers with how slow they decided to show up. Of course, I can't forget going into the city for the last time, visiting all of my usual people, getting new shoes from Kick, even getting an actual painting from Red. Thank you for the donation. Thus ending my second to last day. Yup. You thought I wouldn't, huh? He didn't show up once. So of course I had to get Resetti here for the finale. I was such a model student this whole time, so it really just seals everything in, huh? My last outfit change in this video is me getting a cat helmet, but it's cute. And even cuter, I spent the rest of my time dispersing all of the flowers I had gotten, giving a couple to every one of my villagers' houses. But thus, it is the end. This game was a lot better than what people originally said, like genuinely top tier. If I had more time, I would so love this game. But sadly, my time was super short-lived. Of course, I will be continuing this series, so please make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. Hailed as most people's favorite Animal Crossing game, even after 10 years, New Leaf brings a fresh new twist to the franchise with tons of new NPCs, mechanics, and customizations. And on my journey to play every single Animal Crossing, I'm actually really excited for this one. My goals for these 30 days, however, are to customize my character and house as much as I can, open a bunch of the town shops, and try out all the features possible. Now with that out of the way, make sure to subscribe if you like the video, and let's begin the game. Hello, Rover. We meet again. This time on a train, not a bus. Yep, the beginning of this game starts off with our little friend Rover, who asked the time, and I indeed fib a little. But without asking, he plops down in front of me to ask me more questions. Like my name, easy, and most importantly, my town name, which I kind of struggled with. I had many different options to choose from, but ultimately went with Fizz because that's what happens when you open a can of Dr. Pepper. Don't ask! I'm obsessed, okay? But to see what Fizz looks like, he shows me a bunch of different maps that I get to choose from. I don't know if I like that map. Wait, can I actually just say no? What is that map? Wait. Oh! That's awful. It only gets worse. Wait, I don't hate this one. Kind of. It's rough, but here, yeah, go for it. I'm not redoing the game just to get a perfect map. No, I'm good. And as all Animal Crossing games seem to go, he proceeds to ask questions about my travel and goals to get me a specific facial look. But once that was done, I could finally arrive in Fizz. Aww, I look silly. Aww, how cute. Oh, Freckles is back! soft. Yes, stepping off the train, I had a warm welcome that came crashing down very quickly.
Mayor? What?
Yes, these animals think I'm the new mayor that came to live in this town. And no matter how much I pleaded, they did not care. So apparently, the first thing on my agenda was to go with this dog to the town hall. Not forgetting to say hi to these guys though. Isabel, as we now know, is our secretary and the first person to help us set up our resident registration. What does that entail? Getting an address. Something I don't have. So I needed to head up to Main Street to find the store. Nook's Homes. This is where I meet Tom Nook, the obvious owner of the shop, and he is the one that will help me get an address. Obviously, it takes time to build a home, so he kind of helps me out by sticking down a tent for now. But he'll give me the actual payment info once I get myself set up. So, returning to Isabel, I get my birthday registered. Shout out in the comments if this is your birthday. I got an ID card as well, and finally, we have to hold a ceremony. Oh my god, my villagers? How do I get mint again, bro? What? Okay, that was cute. That was really cute. Aww. This brings so much joy and whimsy into my heart. Isabel tells me to relax after our little ceremony, but I do need to return back to Nook. But speaking with Tom, we learned the down payment is 10k bells, which I do not have. But he thankfully gives me an idea on how to get that. So I start immediately actually finding a different orange than the ones I have around my town, saving that for later. And with my new haul, I take everything over to the retail store. Not only can I sell my stuff to Reese, but I can also try and sell it to my villagers by displaying them in the shop. I sell my goods and take myself back to Main Street, going to Nookling Junction, where I was able to get my first 2 tools that helped me in planting that orange I found earlier. Yeah, we're gonna make a perfect orange tree. And then got all of these fossils buried in the floor. I then took myself to the Able Sisters, who not only sell clothes, but also accessories, with their other sister LaBelle, snagging some glasses while I'm there. With my acquired fossils, I actually took them over to the museum to get examined by Blathers, an owl who runs this very empty place. But we obviously have done a lot, and now I can end the day heading into day 2. Logging into the game, Isabella's here to tell me that she still needs to talk about my mayoral responsibilities and hopes that I'll come see her in the town hall, which I would love to do, but I did get stopped by Pete, our little mailman for Fizz, who tells me I have some mail to check. First from Jack, talking about Halloween coming up, but the second letter, the person who was supposed to be mayor. What? They say that they're not coming to take their title and they wish me well.
Huh?
Anyway, I passed a vacant lot on my way to the hall and finally met up with Isabel. She tells me all about the services she provides as secretary, and before we get to making this town 20% cooler, I have to obtain a town development permit. That sounds scary. But it's not really. Just do normal things around town like I would usually, like collecting fossils, which I was trying to do, but a voice came to me. And this is how I met Wisp, who was trapped inside of a lamp. Taking them to my house, we talk a little, and this is how we learn about the amiibo feature. If I have an amiibo, Wisp can turn into that villager, like Wolf Link. Obviously not the real animal, but very fun to see what I can do with this feature. I go back to my usual tasks, like selling things and donating all my fossils, but new to the mix, I actually buy myself some candy. You know, because Halloween is soon. And getting to writing my villagers letters. I want them to up my approval, so why not write them messages? Even though I was spending a bit of money already, I almost had my house's down payment, so I used the fishing rod I got earlier to finally get all of the money I need and pay off my house's first installment. Obviously, very happy with my accomplishment. Surprisingly, my day is not finished yet, as I went to the campground where I found this dog named Harvey and a couple other campers, specifically Wolf Link's camper. Yep, because I used his amiibo, he came to sell some of his goods. How cute. These campers get changed out every day and use different currency than bells, but it's definitely a cute new addition, and I'll try to check them out as much as I can. Thus ending day 2. Day 3 starts off with Isabel talking about a new town resident whom I went to see immediately, giving a warm welcome to our little kangaroo cranky friend, Walt. I get started on my dailies, like shoveling up some fossils, as well as hitting rocks. Did you know hitting a certain rock in town gets you so much cash? Cash that I used when meeting Sahara. She sells wallpapers and carpets, and so for the price of 3,000 bells, I led her to my actually built house so she could spruce it up a bit. And spruce it up she did. What the hell is happening? When I walked inside, it looked wildly different. A weird kind of different, but still pretty dang cool. This is not all of me spending money, however, as I went to see Nook after my house was built, and he told me the new price. Yep, I literally have enough for that. Just buy a money rock and selling things. So I immediately pay that off, which makes Tom Nook genuinely happy. That only puts me in more debt as I instantly ask for a house upgrade. This one being much, much more. Keeping up my money spree, again, I buy a bunch of items from the Able sisters. I honestly look awful. I don't know why I'm doing this. Second to last thing I do before my day ends is pick up all of my flowers to start a hybrid farm. Obviously, I can't do this without a watering can, but surely that can't take too long. Right now, go in the comments and tell me what day you think I'll get one. It's quite crazier than you think. And while you're there, obviously make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to hit 20K before the end of the year, so any help is greatly appreciated. The last thing on my to-do list was actually seeing Isabel about rating, which is just a measly 38. So she gives me a couple ideas, like creating a new town tune, which, not gonna lie, I don't even remember what I did. And give Fizz a new town flag, thus ending my day at 44%. Day 4 started a little weirder as the old mayor showed up on my loading screen to tell me about a resort island that is always summer and that I should come visit sometime. Also noting that he'll be waiting at the town's dock to tell me more. First thing I notice in my mail is a letter from the Happy Home Academy, whom also wants me to visit them. But I do get a little distracted doing my dailies and seeing an empty plot of land.
That's a little yellow bear. How exciting!
Walking into Main Street, I get greeted by Digby, who is not only Isabel's brother, but a worker at the Happy Home Showcase. This is the area where anyone's home can be toured using the internet connection, but I indeed will not be using this. So, sorry. There's no escaping them though, because Lyle, another Happy Home worker, is set up inside Nook Homes. And he is there to give me advice on my house. Advice I need not take because it is my house and I will do what I want. I also went to the other stores on Main Street, spending money here and there, but most importantly, getting a froggy chair. How cute! This is why I don't need Lyle's home advice, because look at this place! This is finally when I not only talk to some villagers, but meet up with Tortimer at the docks. He tells me starting soon there will be someone waiting here on a boat, just in case I ever decide to join him on the island. And to my surprise, Tortimer wasn't the only stranger in my town. So was this tent. Going inside, I meet Red, who is a seller of fake and authentic art that can be donated to the museum. I do a little bit of sleuthing and grab, I hope, an authentic piece, but I won't know until he ships it to me tomorrow. So I take myself to the town hall and end my day on 65% approval rating. Not only has someone moved in on day 5, but my perfect orange tree is done. How cool. Immediately allowing me to go plant 3 more. And also check out my new villager, Tammy. She is a big sister bear cub that will now reside here. If it isn't obvious by now, cause I'll try not to talk about it a lot, I do my dailies and thankfully donate the art I got yesterday as it was authentic, grab some things from the shops, and find another new tent appearing in town. This time we meet Katrina, a fortune teller visiting for the day. After a crazy cool astrolike sequence, she tells me cute bottoms will be the key to unlocking my fortune, which she didn't exactly clarify which bottoms, but now I know, and hopefully this knowledge will help me. In a hide and seek tournament. Yep, Eunice wanted to play hide and seek, so I caved. But there's no way I could possibly lose this, as they gave me 15 minutes. What time did I end it at? 12:57. Easy, bro. What? The next thing in my journey was seeing Cap'n on the pier, the turtle who would take me to the resort we talked with Tortimer about yesterday. On our journey there, he sings and sings. But we eventually make it there, not only meeting his wife and child, but grandmother as well. I collect some goods I don't have on my town and decide to do a little touring, like the Easy Hammer Tour. The goal is to whack this machine as much as possible in 3 minutes, and not gonna lie, I sucked at this. By the time it was over, I was honestly shocked at the results. Dude, I thought I just hit 30. What? Okay. I did better than I thought. That was definitely a lot for today though. So I made my journey back home, this time skipping Cap'n's song, Sorry Not Sorry, and ended my day with my approval rating. Whoa, that happened quick. What? I did it. That's so quickly too. I mean, I'm on day 5. Huh. Of course, ending a very happy day 5. Day 6 started with Isabel telling me we received our permit and that I should head over quickly, which I would love to do, but come on. No. Really? We're really moving right here. Who? Coulson! Move out! You're gonna make me start barking and I'm mad. Yeah, my town pathing plans just got a little more annoying. But ignoring that, I headed to the town hall to check out my new perks, like ordinances, which changes key factors in how Fizz is run, as well as creating public works projects, which are things like buildings and benches around the town. Starting with ordinances, I actually picked the beautiful town ordinance, as it prevents weeds and keeps flowers pretty. Seemed super beneficial, but obviously really expensive. Work projects, however, we'll get to later. Spending a lot of my bells in the shops, I did need to make more money, so I fished a lot of the day, where I bumped into Gulliver, a seagull who just so happened to fall overboard and can't remember where he was headed on the sea. So with a little bit of clues from him, we deduce he was going to Greece, and he thanks us by giving a little souvenir in the mail. Finally, ending my day. Day 7, Isabel reminded me Wilson moved into town, and just a great start, right? Can't even go into his house without getting injured. But we met him, a smug little duck, and continued on actually, talking to other people in town, like Sable, whom after pestering 4 days on end, finally remembers my name. How nice. This day was definitely a little chill as I found this cute blue brick at Nooks that I just had to buy, and then decided since my money was up, I was gonna work super hard today to try and get everything I needed for my loan. And wouldn't you know it, I completely paid it off, thus ending my day. A very casual day, day 8, as I did some of my usuals, like of course, spending money, and talking to some villagers. even having Eunice over at my house. But the biggest thing was actually making my own clothes at the Able Sisters. Yup, my profile picture has a design and I tried very hard to recreate it. Super not good at this, but I think ultimately I did really well. Thus ending my day getting another piece of art from Red's tent in town. So, I forgot, but day 9 is apparently my birthday. I've been trying to hop around dates, so I completely failed to remember what date I put my birthday as. But my residents did not forget, as they threw me a little party. What? How sweet. Literally, look at this cake. Which, when you know, is a great way to start the day. But I'm also gonna pause here and say I literally don't know when I obtained this net. I looked everywhere in my footage and couldn't find it, so I have this now. But I do appreciate all the presents because I finally got a cabinet to put all of my hoarder stuff in. Before getting to my big plan today, I talk a bit with my villagers, even doing a couple quests for them, like getting rid of their fleas. Gross. But most importantly, heading to the resort. One of the best ways to get bells in this game is to hunt bugs on the island. So to make my chances better, I get rid of a ton of foliage, leaving just a couple trees for them to spawn on. But this takes a while, catching bugs, putting them in my take-home basket, and repeating until the entire basket is basically full. But luckily for me, I get back to Fizz and sell them for over 100,000 bells. Literally having just over 200,000 in my bank before ending the day. Not only did my birthday sneak up on me, but so did Halloween. Yeah, today is Halloween. And yup, you might have thought it was weird for me buying all of those scary masks at the beginning of the video, but today, they all come into play, as well as the candy, which even going to get more of. Tommy tells me that the shop is actually going to be closed November 1st for remodel. I collect all my candy and masks, going to spook as many as I could, because each villager has their own fear, and scaring them is how I get candy. Candy that I can also give to my villagers that are dressed up outdoors. When doing so, they give me the key to scaring people. This one sucked though, cause I already knew he was scared of bugs, so lame. Walking around, I not only find a plot of land for someone named Sherry, but a new villager to haunt. Why are you scared of skeletons, goofball? And also try to find Jack. He is the one whom the candy is really for, as he gives a bunch of goods for it. So of course I did that for a bunch of my candy and ended my day a lot less spooky. And clean. My god, my room looks so much better. Day 11, I wanted to start it off by meeting my new resident Sherry, but she's literally asleep. Girl, come on. Instead, I find Sahara again, whom I, of course, let into my house for another makeover. This was not the best thing ever. So glad I spent 3,000 on that. Going into town though, I noticed a bunch of construction going on, not only at the Nickling store, but also beside the Able Sisters. How exciting. Because it's so early in the morning though, I could only do a couple of my dailies and honestly spent most of the time fishing and even burying a time capsule for a minute, I guess. At the end of my day, however, I got started on my first public works project, the campsite. Usually this would take a bit to donate everything to Lloyd the Gyroid, but I am rich now, so that will easily be completed soon. Day 12, Shari was still asleep, so instead I took myself to the new TNT Mart, where they had even more in stock, like fortune cookies. I guess this counts as a fortune. I got myself a new helmet, how cute. And truly did not do too much today, other than cry about still not having a water bucket for these flowers, hang out with my villagers, and of course, finish my campsite funding. Day 13, Isabel tells me of a new shoe store opening, which I would go visit, but I have someone important at my door. Yeah? What? I would love that. Please. Of course, go. I don't even care what kind of shop it is. Yeah, I don't care. Yep, he wants to open a club. So to try and get this ball rolling, Shrunk gave me a signature sheet, and for my job as mayor, I get to go around having people sign it. Yes, even Sherry. She's finally awake, bro. But surprisingly, it wasn't hard. Basically, everyone was on board off rip, so I managed to get that done pretty quickly, heading to Shrunk on Main Street. Now, all that's left for him is to get a permit. Heck yeah. Finally allowing me to head to the new shoe store, Kicks, where you can not only buy shoes, but also socks. How cool. Heading to the town hall, Isabel tells me that we should have a celebration for our new campsite, which I am totally okay with. Gathering everyone and having a bit of fun. But talking to people, I get the craziest conversation. Whoa! 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 That came out of nowhere. I'm gonna say it's okay. Because I want some new villagers. Do I kind of wish it was Freckles or Mint since I've already had them in my town before? Yeah. But Quilson's fine. Yeah, you can... Your house is also right next to mine, isn't it? Yeah, you know what? Please go away. Fun enough, the last thing I got up to today was creating a new project, a yellow bench, and completing it immediately, ending my day. Day 14 starts off with a bunch of fetch quests and flea quests, even finding someone's lost pouch that took me forever to return. But going into Main Street, I see there is another building under construction. And guess what's also now under construction? Yup, my house. I'm getting a new hedge fence. Closer to the end of the day, I actually found someone in my new campsite. Whoa! I think she can move into my town, but I don't want her to. Sadly, I do not want her in my town, so I will leave her be. But to fully end off my day, I took a look at a lot of progress in the museum and held a celebration for my yellow park bench. Day 15, Isabel told me a garden shop was opening on Main, but before I went over, I opened a lovely gift from my mom. Thanks. But I am so glad the shop finally opened, as I can now get a watering can. Yes, hello Leaf. Very happy to meet you. But oh my god, 15 days I've gone without being able to water flowers or even get new ones, which I can now do. I barely get any hybrids, just pre-warning. Obviously, on my list of dailies, I have to donate fossils, but when I entered the museum, Blathers, the night owl, was already awake and pondering. Since I am mayor, Blathers actually asked for help in getting the museum remodeled by adding a second floor for attractions. Obviously, though, this needs to be funded, so after getting myself some new gear, I get donations set up in the train station. I use up quite literally all of my bells to get this funded as soon as possible, and for some reason, think that this is the best time for a house upgrade. But who cares about that, since I can finally water flowers and hopefully get hybrids soon. What is he doing here? Day 16 started with Isabel telling me of the museum expansion, which I, of course, went to. And I was expecting Blathers to tell me all about it, but his ass was in fact asleep. So instead, going upstairs, I meet Celeste, who tells me that this floor is open for residents' exhibits. All you need to do is buy a room and you can decorate it. And considering I have a bunch from Halloween, I actually decide to do just that. Okay, maybe not as much stuff as I thought, but still works fine. Walking into the Able Sisters, I see a ginormous sewing machine that Sable lets me know I can use at any time. This is how you scan QR codes in the game to get custom designs, and yes, I will absolutely be using this, just not at the moment. Instead, I will be using this new clown nose. Hell yeah, branding. Not only that, but I pick up a new tool from Leaf, the axe, which I can use to cut trees, but sadly, not red. I know I haven't been scammed by him yet, but never say never, you know? End of the day for me was actually spent having a celebration for the museum. Day 17, Isabel tells me of Shrunk's live venue opening, and even talks about how she hopes KK Slider will someday perform there. Foreshadowing. So now, after doing my new updated dailies and getting a special silver shovel from the museum, I take myself over. Meeting Shrunk, he tells me about the music events every night, which I would so go to, but I can only play for an hour a day, and it's 3 p.m. But in the off hours, I can actually get a special performance if I give Shrunk food. So I obviously do. This is how you get reactions in the game. Whatever comedy show he puts on is the expression you get. Like today's was bashfulness. How cute. But sadly, you can only get one a day, so we end there. Moving ahead in time, on day 18, Quilson is actually leaving town, so we head over to see him first thing. Aww. Aww. Now I feel bad letting him go. No, I don't. He was right behind my house. The game gave me another campsite villager to counteract Coulson leaving, but absolutely not. So I continued with my very chill day, getting another new expression and ending there. Day 19 started off super magical, as once I left my house, I noticed a meteor shower happening in the sky. And not only that, but I can wish upon them. Afterwards, I do my usual dailies, now adding Shrunk into the mix. And because it's nighttime, I actually take myself over to the resort island again. I definitely used up a bunch of my money, so it was about time to get a bit of that back by catching as many bugs as I could, ending with literally 400,000 bells. What the hell? But since it was night, I actually thought it would be the best idea to spend it at Shrunk's. And luckily for Isabel, KK Slider is actually here. Yup. I ended day 19 jamming out in a venue with Shrunk and KK Slider. Checking my mail, day 20, I get a gift from Wishy the Wish Star, who was very happy that I did all that wishing the night before, though I was not expecting this gift to be that wild. But going into town, we get some construction going on. Construction I'm really excited for. And not only that, but Blathers is pondering again. This time about his friend Brewster. Since I'm the mayor, he wants me to help set up a coffee shop here in town for him. And let's be real, that is a great idea. So before I get started on that, I actually think this is a great time to finally use that sewing machine that Sable got. Using it, I obtained these cute pathways that I use in my town, allowing me to map out basically where I want the cafe to go. So once I talked to Isabel, I was able to put it down correctly. There was still a ton of time left in the day, so I actually spent it laying down a ton more pathing and using my new riches to get the cafe funded. Day 21, the cafe is open, as well as the beauty salon. Yup, no headgear for me. So I race on over to meet Harriet, the poodle who will be styling me today. And even though it's a pretty expensive endeavor, I knew I wanted to get my dark blue hair. So I give her all the info she needed and she got it done. How pretty. I also went and got myself a slingshot that I actually never really used, but just know I did get it. And finally went to check out the cafe. First getting to celebrate the opening, and then getting to meet the infamous Brewster, whom was able to get me some piping hot coffee for just 200 bells. The rest of my time in the day, however, I spent laying down paths. Day 22, I started my day by trying to put a fountain behind my house. Very difficult to do as I could not see. In celebration though, I went to get coffee, actually seeing Eunice there as well, before heading on a fun adventure for the day. Yup, we're heading to the resort. This time, not to make a ton of money, but instead do some tours. The first one on our list being the shellfish free-for-all. Basically, I get this little wetsuit and have 5 minutes to get as many shellfish as I can, which started off strong, not even collecting fish, but the durians I found on the island. Then I hopped into the water. Sadly, I was not doing great. With the minimum amount needed to succeed being 3, I literally got 6. Thankfully, Tortimer was proud of me though. That was not the end, however, as I got to play hide and seek, this time being 8 minutes, and still just as easy as last time. Like seriously, we just started, getting me 7 medals in return. I could have used those medals to buy things, but I actually went home instead. But I had a really good idea for the rest of the day. I hit up Wisp again, this time asking him to transform into Pietro, a cute clown sheep. And guess what? Since I have space on my town, I can actually invite him over. Yup. How easy was that? So with all the joy I now had, I went to see Katrina, who was visiting my town, and got my fortune. I woke up day 23 for Walt to immediately want to visit my house. So I guess I did that for a bit. Then took myself around town for some dailies. Oh, I didn't think that would work. Yeah, and the rainbow in the background. Yes! Yeah, not just any rainbow, a double rainbow. It's a good day. I go and get myself a new exterior from Nooks, of course, being blue. And when getting my coffee of the day from Brewster, he actually says I can start getting to-go coffees. How freaking cool. Today was similar to yesterday though, as I went back to the resort for some tours, mostly to steal island resources and use them in my town. I celebrated the new fountain and spent the rest of the time I had pathing out. I woke up to my gorgeously blue house, day 24, as well as met my new villager. His house was definitely an eyesore, but not him. How sweet. I love our new smug sheep in town, but he starts asking for real quick. I just met you. Why am I already getting you fruit? In other news, I have donated so many fossils that I couldn't even donate today because they were all doubles. But today was mostly spent doing things like getting an expression, watering plants, meeting Gulliver again, and setting up a new public works project. Yeah, that was a quick completion. Harvest Festival is actually day 25, and little did I know it would be a lot more work than I thought. So I hit up Franklin, who sat in the town square, and got some info. He's making a ton of dishes for the festival and needs my help to get some of the ingredients, this time being vinegar, orange, and an apple.
How am I supposed to get an apple? I don't have an apple. At least he's not being like preyed upon this time. My animals are trying to eat him.
Yeah, I learned pretty quickly that villagers and their houses will give me the ones to help me by first helping them. Simon, for example, needs a carp for the dish he's making, and so after I've gone out and caught it for him, he might give me something I need. Or not. What the hell? So I went to other houses like Walt, where after helping him, he also disappointed me. And it continues. 3 oranges. Thankfully, this time, Simon gives me an apple for my work, which just leaves vinegar. Oh wait, there's also a special ingredient. Thankfully, I learned the secret info, and once I got my vinegar, I was able to find a beehive to give to Franklin. With this, he made our very first dish, the fruit bowl. Next was a soup that required milk, a flat mushroom, and round mushroom. And luckily for me, most of that was just around on the floor already. I just needed milk and the secret ingredient, which I learned was some butter. Thankfully, getting all of these easier and heading back to Franklin. Our third dish is our fish entree, again with more simple ingredients besides the secret ingredient. Oh boy, I don't have that either. And with some fishing and talking to people, we got it done. Finally ending with our dessert, which of course I had none of. This required a bunch of back and forth and a lot of useless fishing. Even going to sell my items, I meet a new character named Cyrus. He is Reese's partner and he likes to refurbish items, so not exactly useful right now, but will be fun for future endeavors. I finally get everything I need, even the special ingredient, and complete the Harvest Festival. After ending it all though, really wish I could have just seen one villager coming to look at the food. Day 26 started off by celebrating this little clock public works project, how cute, and even getting my first to-go coffee. I thought it was endless at first, but no, it did indeed run out. And after doing some of my usual dailies, now we can actually hit up Cyrus for some refurbishing. I actually got a pretty standard table and even a nice pattern top from Abel's, and headed on over. With him, I was able to change the wood color as well as the cloth, putting in that top I got. The only issue is that it'll be done in 30 real-life minutes. So in the meantime, I worked on a ton of pathing around my town and even went to Reds again. This time, I know 100% that this is not fake. And with all that time I spent working, it was finally time to get my new table, and it looks pretty dang good. Definitely a really cool feature. Day 27, I had the shock of a lifetime when Tammy came up to talk to me. Aw, no, wait, I wanted somebody else to move. I wanted to keep Tammy. Aw, I don't want to later gator Tammy. That's so mean. Ugh. Okay, it's fine. In a while, crocodile, I guess. Instead of finding my usual money rocks, I actually found a gem rock. Look at this, how insane. I tried to sell all of them thinking I'd get a ton of money, but not really. Instead, for the rest of the day, I actually took myself over to the resort where I played more tours, using all of my hard-earned metals to get myself some bushes as well as this silver axe, which I took back to town and used to clear out more space. We really jumped ahead on day 28, so much so my animals were asking for me. But there's a reason for this. I've been going very chronologically in every Animal Crossing video in terms of the seasons, and I really don't want to do New Horizons and Winter, so I decided to jump up a bit and do Christmas on New Leaf. Yup. That's coming soon. Because I traveled so far ahead though, I needed to go and get my hair redone. Looks a little messy right now. So I quickly went and did that. I also got to see some new offers at the store, like this incredibly interesting shaped wand. It glows. I promise, it glows. We also have these little snowballs around, and with them, you can make snow people. I meant to make a perfect snow boy, but actually, I made a snowman. Whoops. Though speaking to her, she did inform me of snowflakes that she wants me to fetch for her, specifically 3 of them. So after completing some of those, I bring them back. And she bestows upon me a wall, a part of an obvious ice furniture collection. Because Toy Day is coming up, however, I'm trying to do my best to get hints of what my villagers want, and I'm kind of struggling, but I do manage to get some, but it takes a load of talking to just for them to say anything about it, which I'm not kidding is how I ended my day. It continued on day 29 of talking to as much people as I could, now finding out that not only do they tell me certain things like furniture or toys, but also the color of the items. They're really banking on Jingle giving them the right thing, and a part of me thinks I'm going to have to know this information, so I really hope this list of information will be enough. Fun enough, in the winter season, the campsite actually becomes a full-fledged igloo. How cute. Even Leonardo looks all snuggly in here. I go and do my usual shrunk visit as well as cafe, but this time when getting coffee, Brewster actually asks if I want to start working part-time. What? How fun! So of course, I'll try that out tomorrow, thus ending my day. The last day, day 30, and also Toy Day. So what better way to start it than dressing up entirely like Santa? Yep, I bought all of the clothes and now can be him, which Jingle definitely liked when I went to talk to him, so much so he now actually wants me to deliver all of the presents. I take this heavy sack and my knowledge that I previously got and go find Eunice, who was definitely easier since I knew it was a toy and white, successfully giving her the right one. But that did not last long, as with Sherry, I had all the info, but none of these were purple. So I picked a table, which isn't even a toy now that I'm looking at it, and obviously got it wrong. I had a much better time guessing with Pietro, thank God, but fumbled on the duck that happily watched him receive the item he wanted. Mint and Simon were a bit easier of a guessing game since it was just a 50-50, getting both of them right, thank God. But of course that meant Boone and Walt both received wrong items. Yeah, I did awful. I did not think it would be that bad. I even got some snark from Jingle, which was a little uncalled for. He could have just done it himself. Thankfully, the villagers are still happy with seeing Santa himself, even if they didn't get what they wanted. And you know what? I didn't get what I wanted either. I was so excited to work for Brewster today, but nope. It's a holiday, and he didn't want me. Which, crazy enough, is how this 30-day ends. I adore this game and cannot even believe how much we were able to do in such a short amount of time. Of course, I couldn't get everything unlocked, but I think I did good considering my time frame. Compared to all its predecessors, it's obviously superior, and I can tell why it's labeled the best Animal Crossing game, but we still have more to go. So thank you again so much for watching, and if you liked it, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help out the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. This next game is Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, which was initially released in 2015, and the entire point is to decorate homes and facilities. The content isn't crazy enough for me to make it into its own separate video, so instead I hopped on my Twitch and streamed some gameplay. That you're about to see. So obviously, if you don't want to miss extra content like that, make sure to follow me over there. This was the best I could do to make this look nice. So we have it looking a little bit differently. Obviously the screen is a little bit tinier, but we'll start. We start off with Tom Nook not remembering the person he hired, which leads Lottie to having to tell him who I am. But not only that, he forgot my appearance as well. Absolutely terrifying. Oh god, okay, putting eyes definitely makes it look better. Ugh, no, I've never done these eyes. I think we go this route. Pervert eye. What? I don't think I look like a pervert. I think that looks fine. I like me how I look. Thank you very much. This is what she looks like? Yes. It is indeed. Now that my cutie little character is done, I get to do introductions with my coworkers. First being Lyle, a longtime Happy Home employee. Then the very excited Digby, who's clearly got an admirer, and Lottie, who is not only an expert in home design, but also Lyle's niece. I get chucked over to Lottie as Nook wants to golf or something, and she tells me my first task will be a simple interior remodel of a home. So just changing things like flooring, wallpaper, and furniture. I quickly get changed into my new uniform, how cute, and then we take ourselves over to the house. She tells us that this client specifically wants cute things that make the room have a lovely atmosphere. Each house starts off with required items to have, and this time it was a bright pink couch. Luckily, we have many categories of items to work with that are all what the client wanted. Look at that, do you see how you can change the room's atmosphere by changing the walls and floors? Now let's place a right to complete the room's design. Oh my god, to complete the room's design? Girl, I just have in like random spots. Hold on. Did you actually mean complete the room's design? Because that's not. No. That's better than what it was before. Okay, Mimi put in a carpet. Medium. Oh. Material natural at home design. Amazing! Now, to round out the training, why don't you go ahead and place any furniture you like? Oh. Whoops. But I finished the design and actually kinda like it, getting this montage at the end. And Lottie just casually let it slip that we were designing her room. What? Well, it's a good thing she liked it. Going back to the shop, thankfully given a good evaluation. So the last thing to do for today is save my progress and get ready for my first client tomorrow. Girl is stressing, but I sit down to meet with Goldie, a normal dog villager looking for a booked theme interior remodel. So once we got all the info needed, we raced over to her house to get started. This time having a lot more required furniture. I don't know if that fits the vibe. But I don't- ooh, this one does. This totally does. Yeah, she liked that. She was like, yeah, that's my rug. Thanks. Okay. Look at that. Cute. Oh my god, I think we're done. Oh my god, the little tap dancing they did? What? Wait, that was crazy. We get another ending montage that leads me back to the office, where I actually learn a new emotion. Thankfully, it was joy. Hopefully that meant she liked my design. But to end my day, I write my report and go home. Once the sun has risen, I am back in the office, where I receive a clients list from Lottie. This is how we'll keep track of all of our clients, and even be able to revisit them in the future. I didn't have a client lined up for today. Instead, Lyle scared someone off, because of course he did. So my job was to go outside and help them out myself. This is where I find Lopez, my first solo client dreaming about a metropolitan lifestyle. He takes me to his place where we find not too great furniture, but I can work with it. But he really seems to like this furniture set, so I continue to put more in. Definitely leaning towards more of an orange theme. And I think I made this place work. I did magic. And luckily, Lopez really liked it, though I don't know what this emotion has to do with my work. Coming back to the office, Lottie was impressed I was able to wrangle a customer, and since I have no one tomorrow either, once the day passed, I needed to do the exact same thing. Oh, some ASMR for you real quick. That was pretty good. That wasn't bad. Not as good as it usually is, but not too bad. It was a hard pick, either between Pecan or Muffy, but I knew Muffy's idea was way cooler, which it was. What do you mean I get to design a little gothic room? That doesn't really look gothic enough for me, but there's only so much furniture I have unlocked, okay? Well, excuse me? Before leaving work today, I actually messed around with my work fit. Literally, now I just look like a Good Omens cosplayer, but whatever. It was a little different coming into work the next day because someone new was here. Isabel from the town hall is here to talk about developing the area, as Tom Nook wants to use our designers to build up the town. But working on that won't be today, as I get to decide between Tangy and Ribbot. Obviously going with the robot. Why? I hate myself apparently. How do I make this furniture look good? Like, I literally think I did the best I could, but Ribbot seemed to agree as the emotion I got was curiosity. Cool. A curiosity? The robot is learning emotion. Oh my god. I needed some good rest for tomorrow, so I headed to bed early, kinda not knowing what to expect. Walking in though, Isabel told me of adding a new facility in the area, a school, and it will now be my job to design the place. Since it's a little worse for wear, we got to do the outside, which I let my chat decide through a coin flip, I guess. Thanks, chat. The interior was entirely different, as I had a lot of items that were required. But I was determined to make this classroom look cute. She definitely looks a bit old-styled and does not match the exterior, but oh well. I think they had fun checking it out. We head back to the office where Isabel tells me we'll have a ceremony in the morning. So I obviously race to go save my progress, waking up just in time for the celebration. Aw, look at everyone! How cute. Oh my god, what is this scene? It looks like she's about to confess to me. What? Girl, I'd say yes. You can, Isabel. Hey, why don't I give you a quick tour of school now that it's open? What do you mean, tour of the school? Oh my god. Oh my god, it actually looked like we were about to kiss there for a minute. What? Yeah, the facility is already being used, I guess. But I had to move on as I had work to do today. New work, in fact. Yeah, our client wants to buy land, as she has a little Joey she wants a garden for, and a big ol' house to go along with it. So instead of just an interior, we're doing an exterior. And I loved this. I was having a blast. Look at how good it looks. If I were a kid, I would be stoked. The interior, I definitely tried to make it look as good as the exterior. And I was getting there. Very white mom vibes though, that I didn't mean for, but I tried getting a little bit of color in there. Carrie was surprised by the end of it, which I don't really know what to make of that. And I made my way back to the office. Sadly, this is actually where we end our happy home designer journey for now, but I think this was a great idea for a game. Like, obviously, it doesn't compare to the main games, but if you like decorating, why would you not like this one, you know? Sadly, I could not play Amiibo Festival, the Animal Crossing party game, and Plaza, as I did not have them. And not gonna lie, I am not buying a Wii U for one game. But according to the reviews, we're not really missing out on much anyways. Instead, let's continue to an Animal Crossing mobile game. Animal Crossing on mobile sounds like a great idea, especially when it's free. Until you get to the microtransactions. So I think it surprised no one that they took back the game after 7 years and remade it to a one-time purchase only. Yes, a new Animal Crossing game was just released in December, and I'm going to try my best to get the full experience. Of course, I have some goals like looking at every feature, completing events, leveling 3 villagers to 10, and finally, finding my favorite villager, Marcel. Yes, he is my favorite villager, and it is quite possibly the biggest thing that I care about. So with the goals set, let's get started. I'm now seeing that it's a running theme of starting with KK Slider at the beginning of Animal Crossing games, but it breaks my immersion. Stop. Don't welcome me to your game. KK asked me what I would do if I was on vacation starting tomorrow, and I'm not gonna lie, these answers are kind of bad. But I chose chill out, which he relates to being a fisherman. Ah yes, my occupation. And with that, he fades away, directly into the character creation. Y'all already know that I gave myself blue hair, but there were so many options, I kind of just clicked some buttons. And I'm done. Arriving now at my new campsite. My campsite. I was just given a campsite. She doesn't even know my name! But I guess this is a perfect chance for her to ask for it, which is obviously gonna be Otter. And now, I know hers. Isabel. She will be showing me all of the bells and whistles of how to get started. Like campsite themes. There's a lot more than this, but this is basically like Animal Crossing personality types, but in furniture and clothes themes instead. And since I am basic as hell, and I like Goldie, I went with natural, allowing me to visit her in Breezy Hollow. This is basically the quest system in the game, bringing things for villagers like fruit, to get materials to then craft items. These items correlating to the themes. Once you complete these quests, however, that gains experience towards your friendship level and overall level. I guess doing the side quest gave Isabel enough time to do stuff at my campsite, because when I returned, I found Cyrus and Reese, the 2 people in charge of crafting all of my furniture items, like this fancy new ranch couch that apparently Goldie will love. So much so that she wants to spend all of her time at my campsite now. You know what? That's fine. Cool. So I thought I downloaded the game, but that was just a tutorial. Though it literally pays to have slow internet, because while the game loaded, I collected so much money. Yeah, this is literally the dino game when your internet goes out, but with the camper in Animal Crossing. I don't know how I didn't realize it was a tutorial, because now the game outs me for playing late as hell. Yeah, it's pretty late. Like all the other Animal Crossing games, it's dependent on your real life time. Specifically specifically with meeting animals. Because every 3 real-life hours, the animals I can meet and do quests for will change. So I gotta meet these guys quick. When I took myself to saltwater shores, I'm introduced to fishing. Literally no need to equip a fishing rod, it's already in my hand. There's almost no way to fail this though, unless you just don't pay attention. Or are stupid. What was that? Are you serious? How did I f that up? And after fishing for a bit, I found this olive flounder. That's actually something that Apollo wanted. So I was able to go and hand that over. Each animal only has a couple of quests to do, so if you already have a stock of a lot of things on you, you can get through them pretty quick. Like the fact I already have apples, so I can help Apollo even more. The next thing he wanted was a butterfly, and luckily, the function of catching bugs was almost exactly the same as fishing, so I did it pretty easily. Of course, allowing me to finish all of his quests. Funny enough, you can actually ask for more though. Like, I get why you might want to for materials, but that's just too much work. And I have other villagers to get to, like Rosie, who only wanted fruit for some reason. But not only do I level up by doing quests, you can also level up by just talking, which is kind of sweet. With doing every animal's quest, it did not take me long to level up, receiving a pretty hefty reward, which we'll talk more about later. To finish up with questing though, I actually don't have to meet a villager in person to give them their items. As long as I've introduced myself once, I can use Pete, the handy-dandy mailman, to give them all of their orders, which is kind of nice. The next thing on my agenda was checking out the crafting menu. This is where you'll go to find things like clothes to buy and cute little decorative pieces for your camp. But not all of the items are in bells. You know, the normal Animal Crossing currency. They're also in leaf tokens. This is what you previously had to pay real currency for. And it's not just used for buying cute things in game. No. Instead of fishing, do you want to just put a net in the water and catch a bunch of fish? Use some leaf tokens. Do you need to catch a ton of bugs for quests but can't find any? Attract the bugs with honey. Honey that you got using your leaf tokens. We already discussed how the game runs on your in-game time, and so does crafting. This piece takes 2 hours to make. Speed it up with leaf tokens! Everything in this game revolves around these things. And now that it's a one-time payment game, you kind of get them a lot now. Just by leveling up, I got 50. That's a lot. Also a lot to take in. I am so sorry for yelling at y'all. Taking down the level a couple of notches though, Isabel has come to tell me about a new spot at my camp, the garden plot. This area you can plant flowers to catch bugs, but also use the flowers you grow to get certain rewards. Rewards that I think are kinda trash. Whoops. Funny enough, instead of using leaf tokens to speed up the process of these flowers, you can just use flower food. Good job, game. The second to last thing I did for the day was getting a new villager to my campsite. The villager I chose was Filbert. Ugly ass name, bro. What the hell? Filbert is also a normal type villager, so I already have most of the furniture he needs, and I think he'll like the space. So after crafting the item I needed, I was able to ask him over. Of course, getting a cute little montage in the process. When you do quests for villagers, you also unlock perks for them, like being able to come to the campsite in the first place, and dressing them up. And I thought I'd give the homie a new look. If he's gonna have an awful name, might as well have a cute outfit. What I didn't know is that even though the shirt is in my inventory, it belongs to him now. So even if I wanted to wear it, I would have to buy it again or take it off of him. Oh my god. But there's also other ways to buy clothes and furniture, like the fortune cookies. Timmy and Tommy are the Tanukis that run this place, and it not only has cookies for leaf tokens, but also bells. And since they're so cheap, I decided that I was gonna get them every day, no matter what. Even if I do get relatively stupid items. The leaf token cookies, on the other hand, are super cute, but the possibility of getting repeats is sadly very, very possible. Thankfully, I got myself a new outfit though. But that's generally all I did for the first game session. The next day of logging into the game, I noticed that Goldie and Filbert wanted to talk to me. Yeah, even though they're at your campsite now, they can still ask you for things. Which of course I don't mind, since one of my goals is to get level 10 with 3 villagers anyways. So the more experience, the better. Though what they want is usually just to talk, but thankfully that still gives experience points. The second thing I did today was go to Saltwater Shores, where I got stopped by Chip, who wanted to tell me about the new fishing tourney, where I can catch fish to get measured and get prizes based on the length. And to get the top prize of gold, I need to reach all the way to 6,400 centimeters, which also helps in completing our events goal, and it's also knit themed, so along with the trophies, I get knitted themed items. Cute. To make this experience easier by catching 2 fish instead of 1, I rented out a golden rod, which is a little more expensive than I thought. And literally within 2 fish, I managed to get the bronze statue already, so I'm feeling pretty good. But I also didn't realize how limited this time slot is. The only fish that count for this tourney are the ones that sparkle, and once you catch them, they're gone for a whole 3 hours. Thankfully, I can catch some using the net as well, but I don't actually know how to get more of those. I ended up with a pretty high rating, but that's all I can fish for now. So of course, I moved on to doing villager quests. Apollo returned, which allowed me to do his quests relatively easy with Pete, but everyone else I need to go meet. Like Freya, who I actually leveled up from. And if I didn't explain it already, I also get new villagers, furniture, clothes, and amenities from leveling up, so that's cool. Also, we'll get back to the last one though. I met with Bam, Eugene, and all I had to do was talk to them once, and then I was able to get their quest done. Actually, ending my session there. Oh my god, it's so bright. I started this day decently early. Wow. And of course, went to collect my tournament fish. The total being so much better than expected. So high, in fact, I got the silver medal. And this is only like my 3rd try. Of course, the goal is to get gold, and it looks pretty dang doable. I leveled up by talking to Boots and also Dottie, who I am really starting to like. She is super cute, so we might be seeing her in the future. Who I 100% like though is Muffy, and I got started immediately on getting her furniture created, so I can get her to my campsite. While I waited for that to craft though, I decided to check out a different feature. The quarry apparently I can enter with 30 leaf tokens, or invite my friends with camper cards, but I kind of skipped over the camper card thing because I don't have friends, so I won't be using them. Once I get in the ring, I have 5 attempts to get materials, and I guess I did well. To be fair, it kind of tells you what you're getting before you enter anyways, but I didn't really get this. Even though Muffy isn't Marcel, I still wanted to spruce up the place a bit before she came over, so I actually pressed my luck with some more fortune cookies, allowing me to not only absolutely level up my outfit game, but my campsite as well. Also using my fishing rewards for Goldie. She looks a little silly, but it's fine. What's not silly, however, is this amenity. Amenities are huge housing items that get put in your campsite and level everyone there. And since I have a bunch of natural folk, I went with that. But it does in fact take 12 hours to craft. I'll use leaf tokens for my other items, not that. So I guess if I want to see these done, I'll have to wait until my next session. And oh boy, was this a fun session. I get a quick fishing session out of the way, as it's usual for my routine now. But because my amenity is finally done, I get a little celebration at camp, which is huge towards leveling my villagers and getting closer to my level 10 goal. Because of that, also leveling me in the process, giving me another amenity space, and allowing me to change my camper. This is really interesting to me, so I actually went as soon as possible to change it, and found so many options. But the best one was clearly the calico cat. Like, come on. Tell me that isn't the most stupid thing you've ever seen. So I had to spend my tickets on it. Of course, thanks to the guys at OK Motors for making this newfound dream a reality. Guys, birds. Second to last thing I did, of course, was getting Muffy at my campsite. Cue the montage. But not only that, I also got Apollo. His items were pretty easy, and sure, I want more people to hang out with anyways. Officially ending off my day messing around with my campsite layout. You'd think that was the end of me inviting people. No. Dottie was the next on my list. Unlike Apollo and Muffy, she's actually normal type, so I got her ASAP to add to my ever-growing collection of animals. Still sadly, no Marcel to be seen though. I will say I didn't do much today other than fish because the fishing tourney is about to end, and by about to, I mean literally today. And I was just a couple fish away from getting the gold trophy. I managed to remember a couple hours later to fish, but I was gonna be away for the rest of the day, so if I didn't remember, I would not get gold. I did it! I got gold. I am so shocked I remembered. I even got another amenity while I was on the app. Because why not? Although I didn't get all the rewards, they literally repeat, so it doesn't even matter. I managed to finish my first goal in the game of completing an event. The next day, I woke up to my amenity celebration with Goldie and Filbert so close to level 10, but they still are not the main villager I want. So I had to do some research. The only way to get Marcel was through a treasure trek. I don't know what the hell it is, so I visited Blathers, who would surely know. His whole shtick is exploring the maps that you give him, and you do so by rolling some dice to land on different tiles. Literally, just like a board game. All of the prizes I land on, I can keep, so it's kind of nice, just a little expensive. Although I don't have a map for Marcel, I do have Teddy's, so I tested it out. Again, so expensive. But of course, once I reached the end, I now have officially gained Teddy on my roster. Now the last question was getting Marcel's map, which is through Gulliver, who is docked at Sunburst Island. Using his own boat, he can check out other islands for treasure, the treasure possibly being the map I needed. He just doesn't have it right now. And sadly, I didn't read nor see that there was a refresh button, so I went on to doing other things, like checking my cabin. Yeah, not only do I have a camper and a campsite, I also have a cabin. This is basically just a place for me to store villagers, but it's also good for decorating too. Speaking of villagers, my goal of getting 3 villagers to level 10 isn't actually as hard as I thought. Why? Because of snacks. You can get these periodically over time, and I just haven't used them yet, so it seemed like the perfect opportunity. Okay, but what the f was that, Filbert? Hello? I became sentient the next time I got on the app as I refreshed to get the one, the only Marcel map. Well, kind of. I still need to send Gulliver over there, and there's still a possibility of me not getting him. I just have to use these barrels to send him, which was kind of a pain in the ass. And not only that, but it takes forever? 6 hours? What? I did wait some of it, but I didn't know you could just use leave tokens. So I sped up the process a bit. I can technically only get 1 souvenir, but I just got leave tokens. So I kept opening barrels until I got him. There he is, in map form. I was a little excited. So I raced to hand it over to Blathers, and I could barely pay for it. But I didn't care. I could pay for it in leave tokens to instantly clear the map, allowing me to finally get my silly little friend. I had to drag him over to my campsite to see him, and immediately I made sure to give him a bunch of snacks, which put me so close to hitting my level goal. We're almost there. The last thing that I did was appoint a camp caretaker. If you never noticed, every single time I enter the map, it always yells at me to get one. And since Marcella's here now, we're doing it! Aw, he's so excited. Basically, a camp caretaker does all the quests you would have done if you were just on the app 24/7. It's super useful. Do not wait like I did. You can praise them at the end of the report, and it actually counts towards their level, making Marcel my first level 10 villager, as it should be. The next time I logged into the map, I wanted to check out some scenes I hadn't before with Marcel, as he tags along with me now. First area being the marketplace, where I can buy clothes and furniture outright without having to craft them. And it's also where the fortune cookie shop is, but in general, I really just don't have much of a reason to come here a lot. A newer feature is Whistle Pass, where a concert is happening by, you guessed it, KK Slider. I will say he looks dumb as hell just standing there like that. Actual Build-A-Bear, bro. Isabel explains that this area is mostly for inviting friends, and as you know, we've been over that. And we'll host KK Slider every night. Wow, such convenient timing that I have. It really is a big area to hang out, and over on the right is where KK is. I wanted to request a song, but all I could do was stand there and make hearts, so I think you might actually need friends for this. In other news, for the first time in my life, I noticed this journal at the bottom of my screen, which apparently has events in it as well. Events I didn't realize I was even doing, but I got a crap ton of rewards from it. Don't miss this feature. I am now on my last official gameplay footage. I know. And I have yet to check out a feature, which is the Happy Home Room. I was going into it thinking it was like Happy Home Designer, and I was basically right. This is a school where I meet Lottie, who teaches interior design. The first go around, she teaches pretty hands-on and lets me use her own furniture to make the best place for Goldie, yet I still don't get an amazing grade, so I don't really know what to do about that. I ranked up anyways, so whatever, I guess. But this is when I realized I genuinely cannot do this program because you want to match the furniture style to the villager's personality. I don't have cute furniture. Like, I don't have much other than natural and harmonious. So I guess I'm gonna have to pass. Speaking of villagers though, the last task I had was getting 2 more level 10 villagers. Those villagers being my first 2, Filbert and Goldie. Successfully now completing all of my goals for this game. I'm not gonna lie, this game was really fun. And it's hard to get too bored of it because this is the only Animal Crossing game that Nintendo even keeps up with. So there's always new content. Like even after officially filming, I got a Valentine's Day box that you can only give to 1 villager. And you already know I gave that to Marcel. But it was really good. This video is so late, by the way, because I got sick for an entire month. I couldn't speak about until a week ago. But the next one will not be late, trust. So if you liked it, you should hit the subscribe button, and I will see you then. Animal Crossing New Horizons is the latest installment in the series and much different from all its predecessors. This time, we're on a deserted island, but there are many things to be done here, so much so that I have rules and also goals that we will be following for the next 30 days. The rules are simple. No terraforming the island, I have to let go of anyone that wants to leave, and I have to do 1 row of the Nook Miles Plus. With those in mind, we have the goals, where I need to catch every fish and sea creature available for the months of April, May, and June, get a photo from one of my villagers, and finally, complete my entire island with a 5-star rating. This is very ambitious of me, but I think we can manage. So sit back, relax, and hit the subscribe button as we start the most recent Animal Crossing game. Hello! Oh, they're so cute! Yup, we are first greeted with Timmy and Tommy, 2 Tanuki brothers, who are the ones to check us into our deserted island getaway package. Like asking for my general information. Easy, it is 5 letters, I think. 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 letters. That is my name. Birthday! Let's go. Oh, wait! I didn't even mean to do that! No. That was purely... Wait, that actually makes me upset. Hold on. That's so stupid. But we get that info put in. Now it's time to make myself presentable for my passport photo. Oh, look at all these styles. And no blue hair! What the hell? Yeah, I don't get to be blue, but I do opt for the color that most looks like Dr. Pepper and finish my look. This is now everyone's least favorite part, picking an island to go to, which I was crazy disappointed by. Ooh. Oh, it's got a little heart. How cute. All of these are so close to the island I already have, so that sucks. But I'm not allowed to terraform. So which island would be best for not terraforming on? Yeah, not terraforming my island means I cannot change this layout. Basically ruling out the right side, because what do I do with those edge pieces? So I went with the Heart Pond Island, how cute, and got sent on my way to my new island life. Crazy promotional material I'm getting on this plane, by the way. I have a feeling one of my animals is gonna be Dom. And like a bird, maybe? But also maybe an anteater. Apples! Whoa! I was not wrong, but not right either. Oh my god! Is that Flo and Lyman? Yellow? Oh, I didn't even know there were yellow airports. Whoa! It matches my shirt. The bird in question. Me and these cuties make our way over to the plaza, however, meeting a new face, Tom Nook, who makes sure everyone is here. Why do I get an of course? Is it because I'm human? Is that why they're singling me out? First order of business on the island was actually setting down our tents. My spot was a little unfortunate, but thankfully Flo and Lyman allowed me to do it for them. Thank you. And then we made it back to the plaza to start work on an island warming party. Being singled out again, I get to go collect wood for a fire, as well as apples to make some juice with. The festivities started off strong, but we still needed something to call the island, which Nook wanted us to think about. And girl, you know I already had an idea. Okay, I have two options. I'm gonna stick with the Dr. Pepper theme because it's my favorite thing in the world. Why not? So, I can either do zero sugar or cream soda. I feel like if I named the island Zero Sugar, it just feels a little desolate. So, I kind of want to do cream soda. I don't know if it all fits though. Let's see. It does indeed. And luckily, everyone else's ideas suck, so mine get chosen. Yippee. Because of this though, I do get the title of Island Representative. And after this crazy party, decide it's time for me to head to bed, where I kind of weirdly dreamed of the in-game pop sensation, KK Slider. Thanks for the words of encouragement, pal. Waking up, however, Tom Nook is here to greet me with my very own Nook branded phone that's supposed to help me with my island life, like paying for the cost of my tent, because yeah, I don't have bills. So to mitigate this, Tom Nook gives me the option of paying with his own mile option, which is like a little achievement board where I get currency for doing things on the island, even just taking a photo. Of course, there was more to learn, so I hit up the resident service center to learn about DIYing, Animal Crossing's version of crafting. With Nook's help, I'm able to craft myself a fishing rod. That's obviously important on a deserted island, but there is durability, so at least I know how to make it now. I took my new tool and immediately went to catch a bunch of fish. Look at this loach and pale chub and squid. Yeah, you get the idea. My goal was to keep most of the fish, you'll know why later, and the rest I sell off to Timmy, who has set up shop in the tent. He also allows me to buy things from him, luckily how I'm able to get bells. As well as Nook Miles. Yes, selling and buying from him is an achievement. I talked with all the little folk on my island, them giving me tips, and then went and used my new net to catch bugs. Keeping them all as well, but I'm not concerned with catching all of them, just the fish. The last thing I did with my day was buy some flower seeds from Timmy because I had the bells for it and thought I had enough miles to pay off my debt, but I was 1,000 off. But at least I caught a bunch of fish. Day 2 starts off with some morning announcements from Tom Nook, like our island airport being opened, which also opens a postal service for us, meaning I got some mail from my mom. Thanks, she gave me new fruit. But of course I wanted to check out this new building, so I went and saw Orville, a dodo standing counter at the airport, whose brand tagline is adorable. What the heck? But I'm not flying today, so I head off over to scour the island, finding a washed up bottle with a recipe inside. Yeah, every day you get a new washed up bottle with a DIY inside. Very cool. I went to ask Nook what I should do today, and he said to catch a bunch of creatures, so I immediately got to work, crafting the needed materials and catching what I could, giving a lot of said creatures to Tom, who is planning to give them to his little museum friend. But as I donate 5 of them, he gets a call from said friend, who now wants to join our little island. And of course, since I've placed everyone's plot so far, it is now up to me to find a place for Blather's tent, which I honestly didn't want to put here, but I'm gonna move it in the future. And all that ends up with me surprisingly getting the miles I needed for my tent loan. Yeah, I can get a house now for more money. But this time, I can actually earn bells, so hopefully I can pay that back quickly. Owning a house, though, has upgraded my Nook miles, giving me Nook Miles Plus, an additional way to earn miles, and one of the rules I have for this 30 days. They're not the hardest thing in the world, like taking photos, selling fruit, and even chopping down wood with my new axe. Wood that can be used in even more crafting, but sadly, doing Nook Miles Plus takes like 30 minutes a day. So, yay. Ending my day 2. Nook starts off day 3 announcements introducing Bunny Day and how it is quickly arriving, which can be seen by candy eggs scattered along the island. But not only that, Blathers, our new museum curator, is officially here to now go and see. I come out of my newly built house to get my day started with some dailies, actually finding a bunny themed bottle lying on the shore. But oh boy, is that not where it ends. Not only am I fishing up eggs, they're in my trees, as I'm dying to the insects, rocks, and more. Yeah, I get new tools like a shovel and slingshot just to get a ton of eggs. Thanks. But who better to thank than the man himself, Zipper T. Bunny, the star of Bunny Day. He's excited because he wants me to look for the eggs in preparation and has hid many around the island. Great. I take myself to the resident service tent to find Tom talking with Timmy about building a shop. He interrupts himself though when he sees me to talk about my home and its new debt. So the topic needs to be changed quickly. And thankfully it does, as Tom tells me he got me a free island trip at the airport. And it's waiting for me at any time. At least I know what I'm gonna do later. I want more info about this shop though, so I talk with Timmy where he asks for my help. He needs a bunch of materials to make this place. So going forward, any materials I get, I need to put away for this project. Speaking of putting away, these creatures gotta go. I finally went to see Blathers, and he tells me about how he's here to learn about the island's ecosystem and build a museum based around it. He does lack a lot of those exhibits though, and that is where I come in. He gives me the recipe for a vaulting pole that I can use to reach places on the island I haven't been yet, even finding fossils scattered around, all to contribute to this new museum. He wants 15 items to open up the place, and girl, I got you. I sat there for ages, donating everything I had. And with that, he was able to submit an application within the day. Before I went to take advantage of a free flight given to me, however, I checked out this terminal in the main tent, where I can not only buy stuff for Nook Miles, but also bells. And since my goal is a bunch of fishing, I of course bought myself a wetsuit. That should arrive tomorrow. Talking with Orville, I get my little flight set up, getting to meet Wilbur, the pilot, as we landed. But unbeknownst to me, we were not alone. Is someone here? Whoa! I've never had Drago on an island before. This friend that we met on this mystery island is actually enjoying his life, and I thought, hey, why not join my own island? Which he is so down for, meaning we'll get to see a little dragon in our future cream soda life. Thus ending day 3. The title screen of day 4 started with new folk walking around. Exciting. But the announcements for today were pretty chill, with the museum being under construction, then ending there. We look a little different today. Yes! Could you believe it? Oh, that egg nonsense has gone to my brain. We're an egg now. Funny enough, I ignored the camel while I do my dailies, but it does kind of just look like I'm an asshole, so sorry. With all my newfound dailies, I do catch some unknown fish, getting to add that to my collection. And then now, I can talk to Sahara. She is a traveling merchant who not only sells carpets, but also wallpaper and flooring. Her prices are a little steep though, so I can just get myself a medium rug. But it does look pretty nice in my newly built house. While I'm here though, I collect a bunch of materials needed for the shop, thankfully having enough and head over to Timmy. He is ecstatic, saying we can immediately get started building on it. Of course, wanting me to choose the location. Good luck getting business over here, pal. No one else has a vaulting pole. I talk with my villagers as I want them to like me enough to give me a photo of them, even gifting a pretty rare shell. But the shell did remind me I have a suit and I can now go into the ocean. I get a ton of sea creatures and most importantly, a scallop. Yes, this little friend Pascal is here to steal the scallop away from me. Of course I can just say no, but whatever. He gives me a replacement for the scallop and parts with some unwanted words of wisdom, leaving me alone and confused. Sadly, the museum is not open to donate, so all of my loot will be sitting outside my house again. Weirdly enough, ending my day there. The museum is open day 5, as well as a new shop to explore, but announcements kinda get cut short, as it seems like there are more animals that might want their share of Cream Soda Island. Instead of checking on that though, I do my dailies, heading to Nook after, who tells me I am right about my assumption. 3 new people want to live their life here, and Nook annoyingly promised them fully furnished move-in ready houses. Yeah, I see where this is going. Yes, Tom Nook wants me to not only place these houses, but create everything needed to furnish them. But I'll get started on that later, as we have some openings to do. Like the opening of Nook's Cranny, Timmy and Tommy's new shop. How cute. I thought I'd be the first guest, but I was wrong, as a hedgehog who doesn't even live here was before me. Seems like we'll see her often though, since the brothers were talking about needing a clothing supplier. Hint, hint. She makes her way out and I get to check out the shop, lined with some furniture as well as tools, wallpaper, and flooring, even DIY recipes that I was able to get with my abundant amount of bells. Next on the list was the museum. Poor Lyman can't even be seen. And thank God this is open, because remember, we have a lot to donate. Like assessing all of these fossils and fish that I caught earlier. But now that that's over, it gets us to finally helping Nook out, who firstly wants us to create a bridge on the island. It's not too big of a crafting journey, allowing me to get it done pretty fast, but that only means there's even more to do. Obtaining these housing kits from Nook, he wants me to place them all down and decorate the inside and outside of the houses. Luckily, Nook gives me all of the recipes and whatnot needed for the builds, but I'm not that rich in resources, so I couldn't really get started on that today. Instead, ended my day by gifting Flo and Lyman. Yes, day 6 is bunny day for the island, so the first thing on my mind was going to see Zipper to see what was up. The event he planned for today was an egg hunt, and it was up to me to find all 6 different kind of eggs, which I kinda already had. But I went on my merry way anyways to find all of them. This was not hard, as basically every daily I needed to do gathered some for me. And not only that, but I got some new fish as well. But Zipper T was very excited to see I had come back with every type of egg, but my reward was kinda like, who cares? So I decided that that was the end of my egg hunt festivities. Not before talking to my villagers though. How cute. I went to the Nooks to clear out some of my inventory, as well as buy some things. And things I did buy, my house looks completely different now. But my house wasn't the only one I needed to work on, as I still had some plots that needed decorating. Chopping wood as much as I could, dying in the process, no, I'm not kidding. And was able to end with the first house completely accounted for. Nook starts off day 7 with an announcement about a suspicious character on the island, but I immediately get distracted once I load it in.
Forgot I changed my outfit.
Yay! Oh! Blue flowers! Wait! Yes! This is a very blue day, it seems. Blue in, like, a good way. As good as you can get meeting the suspicious Red, who is now docked on my island. His boat is where he actually sells rare goods, so I have to use my new handy dandy ladder to get over there. And after looking at the pieces, I decide to buy one for a crap load of money. What the hell? Going back to the main area, I get my first taste of reactions. Yeah, Flo decided to give me a little lesson, and now I can emote. Which is a really good thing, as now, with all the money I have acquired, I have officially paid off my loan. Nook asks if I would like to continue upgrading my house, and I say yes, but boy does the price double from last time. So I definitely won't be able to pay off that today, but it's fine. Instead, I use my other money to buy myself more pocket storage. That was indeed super useful, as I spent most of my day working on the other 2 houses, thankfully finishing them and going to tell Nook. He was shocked, but super happy that I was completed, even giving me some fencing as a little gift. But once I left, I noticed a little something on the houses. Whoa! It's a little duck! Okay. Molly. I've never had Molly in a town before. Maddie? Well, everybody's different! Wait, that's so cool! I don't know about personalities, but... Whoa! Cool! Wait, that's so sick. Yeah, I was not expecting that. For the last half of my day, I spent it completely fishing, getting as many new fish as I could, mostly crawfish, but as many new fish as I could, all to donate to Blathers. Day 8 announcement started off with a little someone in the background. I have a hedgehog on my island, the blue kind. It's not Sonic. But that wasn't the only new person, as Drago has officially moved into town. Yep, our little dragon friend actually came over and is getting his house all set up. Guess we'll be waiting on our other friends though. I went to work on my dailies and actually had to ignore some people on the island. Where did you come from? But I was pretty successful, as I had many sea creatures to donate to Blathers. But now was the time to visit the new people. First up being Mabel, whose dream is to open up a shop here, but needs to build a clientele before making the move. Which, fair. Harvey, on the other hand, is a very chill, very cool dog who lives on a neighboring island. And of course, he wants me to visit. So I hop on my little seaplane and make my way over. This is Harvey's camera studio named Phototopia, where you can access all your furniture as well as villagers to take photos. And as cool as it is, I am a busy woman and have stuff to do. So I say my goodbyes to Harvey and make my way back to Nook. Today he was holding a DIY class for customizations. Basically what this is taking furniture and changing the color of it, which hey, is pretty nice, as I got to change this furniture to match my newly upgraded house. At the end of the day, however, I spent hours trying to get some new fish for my collection, and there are many choice words I have to say at the moment. This was painful, sadly ending my day without all the ones I wanted to get. Day 9 was very chill, meeting our new villager Maddie, and doing a bunch of talking with all my other villagers. But not only my villagers, as Mabel was here as well, again selling clothes. But most of the day I spent my money in the Nook stop, like buying hairstyles and hair colors that I obviously used to upgrade my style. Not my favorite blue, but better than nothing. And the end of my day was spent trying to catch more river fish. Sadly, only getting one new one and missing my last river fish, the golden trout. I was not giving up today, however, but we do have some news, like the resident service being closed tomorrow, as it was getting an upgrade. But before we can truly begin today, we sadly have dailies to get done with. Like meeting my new villager Molly, hi, yes, hello, and even putting down a shop for Mabel as she and her sister decided to settle down here. Again, good luck getting customers. But of course I spent most of my time getting as much fish bait as I could, losing it all to fish I already had, and I got so mad that yeah, what do you think I did? I took myself straight over to a treasure island to get one thing, and one thing only. Okay, maybe also Nook Miles tickets because I felt bad for stealing all the fish bait. And then return to fishing again. It took years, but I finally caught the golden trout, and I would let you listen to what I had to say about the occasion, but YouTube will not let that slide. Get it? This was not the end though, as I took myself over to the ocean, surprisingly getting some very rare catches. Even some I was just struggling with. But I did have to go to a completely different island for the blue marlin. Thanks. But at the end of the day, I caught a ton of good fish and felt very happy donating it all to the museum. So I ended at 3 a.m. So when changing the time, I accidentally skipped an entire day, allowing for the new resident service center to be built, as well as the tailor shop. Whoops. But yeah, we have a new island resident, this time not being a villager, but an island staff manager named Isabel, who will also be taking over the island news going forward. So of course, after gifting Flo and Lyman and doing my dailies, I head over to the plaza, where Isabel and Nook are sat to tell me about the new services that the island has, like Nook helping with construction and Isabel with general island matters. I asked Tom Nook how I can help, and he tells me all about his grand plan to try and get KK Slider, the famous celebrity we talked about earlier, to perform on the island. And to do so, we need to increase the island's image. The first thing Tom had in mind, however, was getting a campsite built. Of course, leaving it up to me to get it done. But before I did that, I checked out the new store with a wonderful celebration. Sable and Mabel make pretty cute clothes, but thank God there was nothing I wanted, as I did not need to be spending money right now. What I did need to be doing was getting a bunch of materials for the campsite, which I luckily had most of, and planted it in this really cute camping spot. The end of my day, I did some small things like changed the island tune and island flag, changed my eye color to the correct one, even though it's kind of scary to look at, and randomly caught one of the fish I need. Day 12, Isabel tells us about our new campsite open on the island, which we have a wonderful celebration for. Look at all my cute islanders. But there was obviously a goal I needed to complete today by collecting a ton of river fish I needed for April, as well as sea creatures. Go away. No. Donating everything I could to Blathers and selling the rest for a buttload of cash that I actually used to pay off my debt. And I didn't even ask for another upgrade this time because, wow, that is crazy expensive. Isabel tells us a visitor is staying in the campsite on day 13, so I made sure to race myself over there.
Who's it gonna be? I think a goat. It's my thought right now.
Carlos!
Hello! Oh, can you? What? I guess. I have to take him though, don't I?
Yes, I asked Carlos to join our little island, meaning I need to get some help from Nook, who gave me a kit so I can set up Carlos's new home. But I do kind of fumble. This is an awful location. But thankfully, Carlos moving in has given Nook an idea of preparing as many house spots as we can. So whenever I get the time, I can start setting those down. I, however, need to work on my dailies, like changing my outfit, and raise my friendship levels with my 2 starting villagers. But the end of my day was spent in the ocean, collecting all of the midday creatures I could.
Ew, that's so much bigger than I thought! Wait, this isn't the one I was trying to catch, was it? Oh no, I was trying to catch a snow crab. What?
Yep, I caught so many of these bad boys, I kept them displayed outside my house. Look at my little guard dogs. How cute. Ending my day with a bunch of museum donations. Day 14 is a lot of chit-chatting, especially helping Drago, who was sadly sick. But maybe it's a good thing I helped him, because after getting my beat by some bees, he gave me my own medicine. How nice. I also did a bunch of shopping from not only the Able sisters, but Leaf, a sloth who is here to visit. He sells tons of flowers, shrubs, and even produce, allowing me to spend a lot of time just sat there pressing the A button. But once I'm done, I start planting all the flowers and produce I could, then take myself to the resident service center. Nook tells me the last tasks for Project K, which are to gain that word of mouth marketing through the island image, being done through a handy dandy star system. Yep, asking about our island eval, I get told we are a 1. Great. But that all means I have a bunch of work to do to get as many people here and the island looking all pretty. So I do just that, getting a housing kit from Nook to place on the island, and even move Blathers as I do not want his museum being right in the middle of everything. No thank you. And finally, spend the rest of my day sprucing up the campsite, as it is the one area I have a decent amount of ideas for. Day 15 is the first day of May, which is the first day for the May Day tour, as said by the letter I got in the mail. Though I have no idea what it is, I quickly do all of my dailies, even stopping by to check who my new villager will be. Hello, Monty. And then head over to the Dodo Airlines. Wilbur warns me this is a different island, as it is a maze, entirely a maze, but I was determined to make it through without searching up the answer, especially when I saw what was waiting for me at the end. So I tried my best and successfully made my way through, meeting Rover, a tiny little cat, at the finish line. He told me that Tom Nook made him set up this entire attraction, and my prize for completing it is getting a little briefcase to me sent in the mail. How cute. I snagged some things before leaving, sadly not being able to reach these. Whatever. Head back home. With my remaining time, I get another housing plot from Nook to set up on the island, but this time, I was gonna do things a bit differently.
Okay, I wasn't planning on doing any Nook Miles tickets at all. I wanted to do something different. But then I was like, I should get to choose at least one of my villagers. I'm going for a hamster. A goat. Hippo, perhaps. Oh! I can't remember her name right now. She's a rhino. Wait, she's so cute. Wait, do I get her?
Yeah, First island in, and I absolutely want her. So glad she's hitting up my island. While I was there though, I caught a frog that had a very scary tagline. What the hell? And I wanted to continue villager hunting since I got so lucky to start, but sadly, even after putting another plot down, I couldn't do any more. Instead, I got a ton of new mayfish for my island's museum and placed down every other remaining plot I could. Even moving Kurlos's house since I hated where I placed him so much. I had quite a shock loading into day 16, and not the kind of shock I get when I find out you aren't subscribed. Hey, you should consider. Oh, I have to catch one of the hardest fish today. That was not on my plans. It's ultra rare! Yes, one of the fish I need is the ultra rare coelacanth, only found on rainy days. But luckily for me, we have other things to distract myself for a bit, like meeting our new villager Monty, a cranky little monkey residing here, and doing my dailies. I thought I was smart trying to go to a mystery island to catch the rare fish, but no, the conditions of the island do not always match my own. There's somebody here! Oh, I wasn't expecting there to be somebody here. I just kind of came here to fish. Change of plans! Yeah, we're gonna villager hunt, but I'm going to be more specific. Jesus! Hey, Coco. Is Otter passing up one of the most popular villagers? Yes. I continue to meet Vesta, whom I love, and Gloria, who I almost got, but she is a duck, and I already have Molly. Very sad about that one. Go, 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 go. Gruff. I love Bones. I love Bones. I can't have you on my island. It's so upsetting. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to go away. Kid. I had Kid before, but it was so long ago, and I had Kid for like 2 months. Kid was like one of the first villagers I ever removed from my island because I was like, no. I didn't appreciate you like I should have. You know what? I'll appreciate you this time. Yes, now that I have a villager, I can get back to what I really needed to do today. Catching that ultra rare fish. Way easier than the blue marlin. Are we kidding? That was way too easy, and I still can't even find a bared knife jaw. A pretty dang common fish. What? 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 This is not what I'm going for. I want a stupid uncommon fish, not an ultra rare. Look at my inventory. I literally used up 3 stacks of fish bait and that's it. Give me the baby fish I need. Oh my god. How are you? I have tried for a month. What a crazy way to end my fishing for today. But that was not all, as the actual last thing I did for today was check my island eval, which surprisingly is a 2. Day 17 started off villager heavy, with a new one entering my isle, as well as gifting my villagers. What is that inventory? Drago! That's such a good reason, too. Yeah, out of nowhere, Drago is leaving my island. And I was so bummed. I managed to catch some new fish today, but it was mostly pitiful. Yeah, day 17 was mostly pitiful. Isabel opens day 18 to announce the closing of Nook's Cranny on the island, as it is getting a remodel. Then, of course, she had to go and say that Drago was leaving. Way to rub salt in the wound. So instead, I tried to lift my spirits going to see Kid, my little goat friend who is now on the island, and the museum, as it has an event going on. Blathers tells me that this is a stamp event where you can go through each exhibit and collect stamps in various areas. And this was super fun, especially going through my pretty full sea creatures area. Hated the dinosaurs though. I don't know who else is scared of them, but at this angle, I'm gonna throw up. The art exhibit was, great. But thankfully, it didn't matter as Blather still gave me a reward for it. All of them combined, giving me a little housing pendants. I can't really ignore it though, so I do go see Drago, but I'm not happy about it. Sadly, there's nothing I can do though, as it is in the rules, so I continue with my day. I took myself to the resident service center to ask about my eval. What? I was muted, but I genuinely levitated from my chair. What? What have I done? Yeah, I haven't done anything to deserve this, but apparently KK Slider thinks I do, as he said it himself. Look at the signature right there. But Nook and Isabel are hype, calling him up right away and successfully getting that performance booked. Which means we will be getting that on day 19. Yes, the game literally loads into this performance, which was pretty sweet, but I still don't know what I did to deserve this. As KK Slider ends, I take a sweet little screenshot and am transported outside my door, where Tom Nook is waiting for me. Apparently, KK loves it here and will be performing every Saturday, but that is not what I care about, as Nook introduces me to this new little thing called Island Designer, where I can create paths. No, I'm not allowed to terraform, but pathing? Yeah, I can do that. So I quickly get on with my dailies, shocking myself in the process though. We've had Barbara before! I don't really want another sheep, but I guess that works. But once I'm done with those, I take myself to the Nook stop to buy all of the pathing I want. And luckily, I am pretty dang rich. I start off pathing down by my villagers' houses, as it seemed like it was the easiest place to start a road, then place down a bunch of brick over by the deserted Able sisters, since I know I'm going to need to build a bridge soon. Finishing off my pathing, I put more down over by the campsite and end the day by catching a catfish. Yup, I apparently didn't have that one yet. Day 20 started with the longest announcement of my life. So let's go through them all, shall we? First, ordinances are now available on the island, which are a good way to improve island life. What I ended up choosing, however, is the beautiful island ordinance for less weeds and pretty flowers. Next, there's a new tour available on the island from Cap'n, a turtle who is sitting at the dock. He takes you to an scary mystery island. How cool and interesting. Next, Barbara is also now on the island, as well as a campsite villager. Wow, we are so popular. And finally, the grand opening of Nook's Cranny. Yes, big ol' celebration and many new things to buy and explore. The selection is much larger than it was previously. Thank God. I got more people to talk to, so of course I headed over to the campsite. Walker! I love Walker! He's so cute! Oh, I don't need another puppy. I have such an array of goblins right. Oh my God, I forgot to meet Barbara. I don't like having two sheep, that bugs me. But whatever. I saw Barbara, she was sweet, but of course I've had her in the series before. Honestly, I was thinking about using one of my Sanrio amiibos to get another villager, but I think I'm just gonna let life run its course and we'll get who we get, and it's not gonna be Walker. That's so sad. On Cap'n's Mystery Island from before, I am able to catch a bunch of night sea creatures I needed, and honestly were kind of scary. But coming back to the mainland, I decided to upgrade my house from Nook, getting into a pretty hefty debt, then finally installing a bridge to get myself to Nook's and Taylor's easier, as well as started on a path at the main entrance and my house. Don't ask me to fill in that corner, I literally can't, and I don't want to hear it. Ending my day there. I checked my newly expanded house day 21, as there were a lot of things blocking my new room, but thankfully I now had space to put them in. After all that villager talk yesterday, I was excited to see who was replacing Drago, but got the shock of a lifetime instead. What? I didn't do that! I swear to God I did not do that!
I can't keep him. Like, he's gotta be like the first one to go. Oh, that makes me so happy. I've only had him for like 10 years though, so he's kind of gotta go. So much for no dog on the island, idiot. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, that's my favorite villager. But hey, if you were following my Instagram, you might have known. I posted about it. Anyways, I do my dailies for day 21 and actually decided to hit up another Cap'n Island, stealing some of its resources. Don't mind me. Though this contrast is crazy. What? I also went on another trip as I got some mail from Harvey telling me to pop on over. So when I did, I met him and a new character, Harriet, who will be helping Harv set up a plaza on the island, an area for shops to set up. And he would love to do this, but of course, he needs money, and a lot of it. What do you mean each of these stalls are 100,000 bells? Bro, I cannot do that right now. But we will keep this in mind for later. Going back to cream soda, I worked hard on crafting as many items as I could to make the scenery a lot prettier. Starting first with the Ables and kind of working on Nook's Cranny, but also putting a bunch down at my campsite. Ending my day using a ton of my bells to complete the island's bridge. Guess who's on my island day 22? Yeah. Oh, he's so sweet. I love him so much. Y'all, he's so cute. I started crying while writing the script. Do y'all have a villager like that? Please tell me in the comments. I would love to know. I started off my soon-to-be annoying day with a little decorating, but sadly, I have just a couple of fish I could not get my hands on. First off being this Ranchu goldfish, and when I tell you that if I see this fish in real life, that took ages. That literally took years off my life. I'm actively reading a Reddit post about how to catch one of these. Like, it's ridiculous. This took me so long. Ah, and I still have to catch like a beta fish, don't I? Yes! Oh my god! Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen here. Instead, it happened on a ticket island. Thank God. That was my third catch, by the way. Third catch on a mystery island. That's insane. If you couldn't tell by how scary I sounded, we stopped there, considering the last couple of fish I needed could be caught in June, which is exactly what day 23 was. I started with a random side quest for Harvey, then did a bunch of stuff around the island, like picking up some weeds, talking to all my friends, and even finding Blathers sitting in the museum, pondering. He opens up about how he wants to open a cafe and would like to invite his friend Brewster to set up shop, but sadly, he's kind of been off the radar and would need me to go fetch him. Which, hey, I'll do if we hit 2,000 likes on this video. Yup, I will do another 30 days if we hit that goal. So for now, he will be left to ponder. I went and picked myself up a new little outfit and spent a lot of the day fishing, as June had some new midday fish to offer me. But of course, we are still trying to get a 5-star island, and with only 7 more days to go, we have got to hurry. So I laid down more paths and tried to put down fences, but this goblin was in my way. Thankfully, it left me with some pretty cute areas, but I still needed to buy myself some more goods to decorate with from the store. Officially ending my day getting an incline to set up and even finishing the donation for it. Yeah, I did a lot of shopping yesterday, my god. But the new incline was up, finally allowing some of my villagers to move around. And as I was doing my dailies, I saw a little shark out of the corner of my eye. So of course, I tried to fish it up. Whoa! A big old fish! What is it? Whale shark, what? Cute. It immediately donated. I do not trust myself to not accidentally sell it. But that was not the only thing I donated, as I spent a ton of time in the water today, collecting things like a sea urchin or a gazami crab, and even this big old thing. Jesus. But for some reason today, I was super lucky with my fish, as going to a secret island, I caught not only the ultra rare giant trevally, but the ultra rare mahi mahi as well. What the heck? Even adding a couple more fish to my collection that I obviously needed, but wasn't even going for. Ending my day with a super successful museum donation. After having such a good day yesterday, I decided to spend day 25 upgrading my island as much as I could. Firstly, going over to Harv's to spend 100,000 bells to get leaf set up. Yes, if I want a nice island, I'm going to need some foliage. It was a good purchase, I promise. I then crafted items as well as customized them to get the area around the Able sisters and Babaras looking nice. And it was, but also started working on the boys area in the land above. Kind of struggled with the pathway, but I think it looks nice. Especially using this area over to the side as a little playground. This part will look better soon, I promise. And I didn't think this would earn me a 4-star rating, but I did want to check. Of course, not being the case. So the last thing I did for today was get myself a new bridge set up to connect the Abel's path and the campsite path, then ended there. I guess we're in the business of winning because not only do I have a little friend in my campsite, but I made a true friend with Lyman. Yes! Yes! I actually didn't think I'd get one by the end of the 30 days. Gotta be one of the best things to happen this playthrough, as I completed one of my goals. Sadly, I didn't get the same from Flo, but maybe one day. The campsite villager was surprisingly Winnie, whom we have had in a town before, so I will not be picking her up. But what I will be picking up is a ton of plants from Leaf, who is now standing at Harvey's. It genuinely took a while as I bought a lot, but it was worth it. Even getting a cute little do while I was there. But once I went home, I started doing a lot more to my plaza. Not being the cutest ever, but why would Isabel care about that? Just look at my effort. All that plant life definitely helped to elevate a bunch of my neighborhoods. But sadly, this was not enough to move my 3-star rating. So I packed even more in the section behind my museum and beside my campsite for a potential gardening area. Oh my god, it's my birthday, day 27, as Flo came to get me from my abode, dragging me to hers where Lyman and Maddie were waiting for me. They not only let me blow out the birthday candles, but also whack a piñata that did not drop candy, but cupcakes. Ew. And as much as I was happy I got an achievement for it, I knew that today I was gonna do everything in my power to collect every fish and sea creature I was missing. I started first at a mystery island for my river fish, spending a lot of time catching all of those, then got a gar to finish off my pond fish. But for the sharks, I wanted to do something special. Go to a shark island. Yup. They exist, and they house tons of sharks. Immediately being able to catch all of them that I needed, and even more for some cash. Oh my god, I was not expecting that much. Thankfully, finishing my island's bridge with said cash. I went back to a mystery island to search for the barrel eye, but kept getting disappointment after disappointment. So instead, I hopped into the water myself for all of my little sea creatures, which weren't too many, so I managed to catch all of those swiftly and just donated them off the bat. When I went back to a mystery island, however, it was infested with scorpions, and a lot of them that kept not only killing me, but leaving me with wasp stings. Okay, but thank God I was finally able to catch the ultra rare barrel eye, ending my day completing the goal entirely, feeling very accomplished.
Of course, it's storming on my wonderful, exciting day, but I checked out my new glorious bridge and my new glorious fish. Look at all these guys. But sadly, I was still a 4-star island, so I needed to get to work. I started by creating another bridge on the island, finishing that off with my shark money, and working really hard on the campsite area. Tons of pathing, furniture, and plants all over everywhere basically. But that was when I got stopped by Flo. No! Ah! Seriously? That's so lame. Ugh, and I have to say yes. Ah! Oh yeah, I'm upset. This cute little 4-star neighborhood is gonna be lost without her. But you know, maybe she deserves a 5-star island instead. Day 29 started by seeing Flo off, then stopping by Leaf, who was in my town square, for a little chat. He gave me tons of products, as well as a hedge fence DIY. Thank you very much. But honestly, I didn't know what to do with my island anymore. I had already done a lot, but also not a lot. So I worked on the campsite's entrance, realizing my old bridge was really in the way, so I got rid of it. Then finally got to work on my museum area. I put up a hefty completed dino and a ton of fencing, but that still wasn't apparently good enough. So that led me to try and get everything done on the last day. Day 30. It was all or nothing. Picked up a new outfit from the Ables, finally getting this stupid clown nose from their store. But I expanded my garden's island, adding new produce to the mix. I used those cute little hedges in the main plaza with some tiki torches. I got bit by some wasps. Okay, that one wasn't too necessary. Moving my puppy dogs, I even made myself my own pretty whatever yard around my house. But it works. I expanded the museum's pathway, making a cafe that would probably look 10 times better if I had cuter furniture, I know. And even with all of those decorations and fencing, it was still not good enough. I was devastated. I managed to get every other goal, but probably the most important one. I had so many fences down, bro. So sadly, we have to end without a 5-star rating. But this game was fun. Compared to the previous games, there are so many new additions in this game, and it made it really hard to compare to the others. That being said, I really think each game improved with every go, and if I had to rate them, it would literally be in the order in which they were released. I'm not kidding. But I'm really glad you joined me on this little Animal Crossing journey. And if you liked it, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to hit 20K before the end of the year, and maybe I'll play more in the future. We do have a DLC coming out. So, thank you so much for watching.